And it's live.
Are we live?
It says it's live. It takes a second.
I still see Aiden Scott. Aiden Scott is on the screen right now.
While we're waiting for it, Dynamix, when your dog walked on camera, your dog looks exactly like mine, and I was like, "What just happened?"
StreamYard, yo.
I know, right?
Creeped me out so badly.
Like, oh, you jumped into my screen from yours. That's dope. What kind of dog do you have?
We just got her in January, so Pit something, but she looks like a a pincer, but she's like the same height as your dog for sure, like the exact same height, like that dark color. Man,
yeah, we just got him in the beginning of March. We adopted him from Taiwan.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got a local Baltimore rescue over here, so yeah, rescue dog dads.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Rescue dog dads. Welcome to the show, guys.
What up, everybody?
Yeah, coming in.
Hey.
What's up, everybody? We are officially live right now. Everybody in the chat, make sure to come on in, sit back, relax, grab a drink. We're going to officially start the show in just a few minutes. We're just going to wait on people to start trickling in. Anybody in the chat, if you haven't done so, make sure to host a stream. We really appreciate it. And for our lurkers in the back, all of our lurkers, make sure to hit that follow button if you're new to the channel. What up, lurkers?
We like.
I know you're not working, so say what's up. How you doing? Let us know where you guys are from.
Yeah, we have some multiple time zones here right now.
Yo, we got DJ Kaz. Thanks for the follow.
I'm barely on Twitch, though.
You made your presence known like that.
Myrtle Beach.
Mr. Joe is from Myrtle Beach, South Kakalaki.
Drug.
Kakalaka.
Where else is everybody from? Let us know. In the chat.
Rug Joe. What up?
Yeah, how do you say that?
Oh yeah, let me.
Rug
Joe.
What up,
Myrtle,
DJ Matt?
Myrtle's in the house.
Meadow 5, what up, homie?
What up?
My man.
Totally know.
We've seen him on our past shows before. Yeah, man, that's the homie. Me and him met at a random crossing of paths before I started teaching at Beat Refinery. B-Moore's in the building. Yes,
what up, B-More?
Put up those Old Bay emotes. Gotta keep it spicy. Oh, I gotta get some Beat Refinery emotes here. If you guys want some Beat Refinery emotes, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so.
The Old Bay potato chips are, man. Who's it? Utz that makes them, Sean?
Yeah.
The Old Bay potato chips.
Old Bay, yep. Is that the crab flavored? Is that
like,
or is that something? It's basically what everybody associates with Maryland crabs. Yeah, it's the Old Bay.
You guys probably don't even see this on the West Coast.
No.
Yeah,
Adobo DMV. What up, Pedro Knight?
Hey. What's good, Pedro? My bro, Pedro.
Hola.
Nika's in the building. Nika now in the building.
Hey.
We got the modified Old Bay.
Yo, I didn't even know about Rap Snacks until I went to St. Louis, and then my boy Deception put me onto them. Rap Snacks is tight.
I've never had them, and my homie keeps telling me like you are sleeping entirely too much on this.
I remember when Migos came out with theirs with a Dabba Ranch. I was like, oh.
I think it was about that point I started getting told like, what are you doing? Why are you not on this now?
Yeah.
So Harry and I and Trace, when we do Crafty Daggers, all the early stuff we used to make was called Rap Snacks, and that's Harry. Harry made that name for a lot, like a decade ago, and then one day driving to Trace's studio, I stopped at the 7-Eleven, and it was like there were raps, like a whole thing of Rap Snacks, and I was like, "What is happening right now? What is going on? Who heard Harry talking about the Rap Snacks?"
I don't know. It's been years since I've had Rap Snacks. Like what would you compare that to? As far as like,
trash.
Is it not?
Garbage.
How you really feel.
I mean, comparison to the other trash, but
they just don't. It's like there's probably some bad ingredients in there, man. It cannot be good.
Tim Nice, what's up, sir?
Hey, Tim Nice, what up? Yo,
big shout out to Tim Nice.
Killed it on our.
Oh, that was sick.
He killed it with those blends on Friday, man.
Yeah,
killed it, yo. Whew.
Super killed it, man. Who else is in the chat right now? Let us know if you're lurking. Hit that follow button.
That's the Hercules, right?
Yes.
Hercules.
That's cool. Does it come with those lights? You got the built-in lights?
Yeah, the lights are built into it.
That's sweet.
Built in.
Oh.
I might get that before I leave for my trip, man.
It's such a good
man.
I would love that for a car ride.
Oh, Dynamix, you were the first one I ever saw that had one of these little joints. You had a video you on a plane with it, right?
Yeah, he was doing all the stuff on the plane on Instagram and stuff like that. What do you have? You had the Newmark, right? Or do you have them all at this point?
Yeah, so I started off with the Newmark, and then I got the Hercules joint just because the Newmark was weird because it had that little dip on the surface. So like trying to scratch on it was a little weird. But that crossfader is super sharp. Right, and then you get to the Hercules. It has a flat surface. It's got all this access, different pad modes. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the fader is not butter at all, man. It's like you can run from the wall until like the fader finally opens up. It's
oh my god,
that gap is enormous. Yeah,
I already changed the fader cap. At least I changed the fader cap on all sides. It was just a little too light. Yeah.
Can you change the actual fader itself? Could you put like that would be dope, because then it'd be like the dudes that roll down the street with a Civic with like the tires cost more than that entire car itself. You could do that for a controller.
I found a way to tweak it so that like it does all the cuts I needed to do now. So we're good. We're solid.
I think the first one that came out, you couldn't actually scratch when it was playing. You had to stop and then scratch, and then Newmark came out with the part 2.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that was an oversight. I think for a little while there, Hercules kind of had the market cornered because you could actually scratch with their things.
That's right. On the Newmark, you had to stop. Yeah, that is right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's why I eventually got the Hercules, and this joint is like $80. Like
it's so cheap. That's the reason I got one. I was going out to the family. I was like, why not?
And it's got the lights, though. The lights.
Yeah, it's all about the lights.
I'm for the LED, fam.
On a dark plane, it is very obnoxious, though.
What up, Kenny Blanco?
Oh man, that's funny.
So like Hercules is much preferred than the Newmark controller, or
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I like it just because you have access to the effects. And then I just pair it with an SP1 and game over.
You gotta give it up to the Hercules. Yeah. They make like those small controllers they do are really, really well pulled out. Even that like little
the 500, right? The Impulse or whatever.
Yeah, they got like the legs on it. It's dope.
They have legs on it.
What's up?
Whoa, Benny C. Wow, what up, dude? Long time.
Man,
we got Benny C. Hey, what up, bro?
My man.
Another one of the tallest DJs.
The boys got ups.
And I'm
got
sure
a couple of gifted
that's
subs,
one of the
man.
shortest I've ever met.
Yo, big ups to D Rug Joe, man.
Drug Joe, killing it.
Drug Rug
Thank
Joe.
you.
D Rug Rug. Drug Rug Joe, man. Thanks for the subs, man. Gifted subs.
Is it a Joe Byron by any chance? I wonder. That's my friend out there. Dude, shout out to Drug Rug Joe. Thanks for the gifted subs.
You know, it's a full-time job trying to figure out how to pronounce people's names and Twitch stuff.
I know, man.
Everybody's a substitute teacher nowadays.
Who did I butcher, man? Like, and it became like
every other
joke.
one,
huh?
At every other one.
Yeah. Well, no, but there's this one where it's like DJs. It says DJs ex girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I kept calling her DJ's sex girlfriend.
Oh my! Oh yeah, that was so
Wow.
Ex-girlfriend.
It was a whole thing.
Oh
I
man.
could not get it right. But it's like it was like a tongue twister. I could feel your pain. That's why I was like, I can't. I'm just gonna say, girl, friend. That's it. It was too easy to be butchered.
Sister.
Yes.
Yeah, if the name is too long and there's like I have no idea how to pronounce it, I'll just try to find like the first letter or the first legible word, and I'll just say that. Yo, what's up, B?
DJ B.
That's just the the global calling card to any B-boy, B-girl, so it always is going to work anyway. So
Nice.
B is always it.
I just saw.
Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B.
I just saw a video from the Versus last night. I think it was.
I missed that.
From Earth, Wind, and Fire.
They were calling D Nice is nice, like DJ Nice, and it's like, damn, like the biggest DJ at the moment still gets his name butchered. Like, no matter who you are, where you're at, your DJ name is always gonna get butchered, no matter what. Like,
What's some of the highlights for you, Kaz?
Um,
well, I didn't watch it. I was working.
No, I mean, what's some of the highlights for you getting your name butchered?
Oh my god. I mean, I get K5 all the time. I get when it was Killer Castle, it was Killer K5 and
That sounds kind of cool.
Cause, like, people add W's, Cause and Cash, and I don't know. It's there's everything. I'm just like, all right, cool. Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's me. What up?
I gotta sneeze. K5.
Right. I mean, I'm used to it. I'm just like, all right, as long as the check it's written right on the check, I'm good. Like,
dang.
Right.
Bingo.
That's it.
That's right.
Chilling.
Absolutely.
Anyone else got some crazy name spelt wrong, got wrong stories? Anyone?
I think half the DJs know me as Dynamix.
Dynamix. Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not going to call out who, but there is a particular client who over the years has booked me for a bunch of different virtual events, and they have spelled my name on the promo SHAWN, and it's like, hold on, we've been doing this long enough that you should know. And it's also the harder way to spell Sean, so I don't know what the disconnect is, but whatever.
I love this one. Vic Meganox.
Meganox.
No.
Victor Menago.
The DJ name is definitely one way to be humbled and butchered, but I think the worst like humbling I've ever had was I was DJing for the Nats at one of our fan fests, and it was like one of my first years, and they put me in a jersey, and I'm standing there, and there's all these other real players in jerseys, but I look just like a player in my outfit. And this maybe like 8-year-old kid comes up to me and is like, "Oh my gosh, you're Steve Lombardozzi," who's like a player on the Nats. I'm like, no, I'm just the DJ. He's like, wait, you don't play on the team? I want your autograph. I was like, no, you don't want my autograph.
You don't want my autograph.
You don't want it. He was
So
like,
you're going to get you nothing on eBay.
Nothing.
Sorry, kid.
Oh,
man.
man.
It was a
Not
kick.
your hero.
Kick in the nuts, man, for sure.
Always give the autograph. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
True indeed.
that's true. I think I was in Atlantic City for the DJ Expo, right? And at the convention, I'm at a booth. I'm doing a showcase, and then someone comes up to me like, "Oh my god, can I take a picture?" "Oh sure, yeah, it's all good." "Oh my god, man, Cubert, you're my hero." I was like,
Whoa.
all right.
What do you do? Like, what do you say?
What do you do there?
Yeah, like,
Oh, man.
Did you roll with it?
Oh, God.
You're like, yeah.
What up?
Cubert's my homie too, man.
That's all the Hercules owners.
And then like at the nightclub at the after party afterwards, somebody came up and was like, "Oh, yo, the owners want to meet you." And I was like, "Oh, cool, all right." So he brings me over. He's like, "Yo, this is the guy I was telling you about, Inferno. He's amazing."
oh my god.
Man,
At least Inferno are similar in height.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
you got the same haircut, you know what I mean?
Oh, God. Team no hair all day.
Yeah. Yep. It is easy maintenance, you know. Comb my hair with a razor.
Exactly.
Yep.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, let's do it.
We go ahead and start with the show. We got enough people in here.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here.
So once again, everybody in the chat, man, we are doing a live recording of the 9 at 9 DJ podcast. So this is not our usual music playlist show or, like any of our other shows on Monday nights, but this is the official 9 at 9 DJ podcast show. So with that, on that note, let's go ahead and start. I am going to cue in music.
Easy.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
It's an ill mind that's still time build and refine. Still getting mine in the 9 at 9. Build and refine, build and refine, build and refine. Still getting mine in the 9 at 9. Build and refine, still getting mine. Geometrix, 9 at 9. Sean J, 9 at 9. Stylus Chris, 9 at 9. DJ S1, 9 at 9. 9 at 9. Don't touch the dial, you heard?
What's good, everybody? DJ Geometrix here, and we are back with a new episode of the 9 at 9 DJ podcast, the online show with 9 DJs on a roundtable panel discussing today's DJ topics. This show is brought to you by Beat Refinery DJ School at Bach to Rock. Learn how to mix, scratch, and make music by visiting beatrefinery.com. We have school locations nationwide. We are streaming live right now on Twitch, and tonight is episode number 28. But this episode is a little special because we hit a milestone today. Fellas, we have officially done this podcast for a whole year now. Round of applause to us. Definitely for making up to this point. So cheers to everybody on that.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
If you guys missed any of our previous episodes, you can watch our past shows on facebook.com/beatrefinery or youtube.com/beatrefinery. If you prefer to listen to the audio side of things, this episode will be uploaded this Thursday to Apple, Spotify, Mixcloud, wherever you consume and listen to all things podcast. So make sure to click, like, comment, and subscribe. Also, for the people listening to this episode on the audio podcast, make sure to stop by every Monday night, 9 p.m. East Coast time, whenever we do our live music playlist shows.
Yes,
and
please.
whenever we do our live tapings to the 9 at 9. Definitely would love to hang out with you guys. So join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/beatrefinery. We also do a weekly Twitch raid train called Hall Pass Fridays every Friday afternoon on the Beat Refinery Twitch channel. So make sure to tune in 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. East Coast time. On that note, we have a great lineup of guest DJs here on the panel tonight. We have a couple of people who's been on the show before and also got a couple fresh new faces. Again, it's our 1 year anniversary of the podcast. And, also we've been stuck in this pandemic for a whole year. So, we're gonna do a 1 year update on to see what's going on within the DJ industry and really talk about what to expect in the coming year. Sad face. As always, folks, let me introduce the rest of my crew, my co-hosts. First up, we got DJ As1, who's broadcasting from pandemic-free Las Vegas.
Hey, baby. What's going on? Live from the MGM Grand from my mom's suite.
Nice.
Shouts to moms.
Yo, shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom and grandma.
That's her bed, and she's on the couch over there. Oh,
nice.
But
Next
it's cool
up,
to be able to do this stuff mobily. So there's no excuse not to be here, guys.
Right.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys planning on doing tonight? Like after the show? Just more gambling. All right.
They're going gambling. My cousin lives out here, and she's got a gig tonight. She is in a burlesque show, and she warned me about a few. I was like, it's cool. We're all adults, but I'm gonna go hang out and see her do her thing, and just take the night from there. Tomorrow, I'm actually.
Big shout out to As1 for he's gonna watch a sex show tonight.
Shout out.
We got to keep it PG here. Anyways, next up we got Sean J.
From Baltimore, not in Vegas. What's up?
And next up we have next up we have our guest co-host for the night, but most of our viewers already know who he is. Of course, he's a regular staple in our weekly shows. Give it up for Doc Blust.
What up?
Doc Blust.
Yes.
yes.
Officially on the panel. Welcome.
Yeah,
from Austin, Texas right now.
Officially first time on the 99.
From Austin. He's from he's streaming from Austin right now.
That's right. He's streaming from Texas. And finally, I'm gonna pass the mic off to Stylus Chris.
What's up? What's up? Happy anniversary, everybody! Thank you guys.
Happy anniversary,
Doc. You keep it up. If you guys haven't seen Doc do a hall pass show where he's busting out his guitar, his bass, he's rocking out over his tracks. It's a lot of fun. He's the youngest of the crew. Glad you're here. And now let's get to our special guests. We always run them down in alphabetical order. Our first guest has been making his mark in the DJ world over the last decade through competitions, TV, radio appearances, online content, brand partnerships, teaching, and touring around the world. He has been crowned champion in both the 2020 HMC and Def Jam DJ Battle and FaZe DJ Games. He was handpicked to be a world finalist for the 2020 Goldie Awards. He is a 3-time Red Bull 3-Style SoCal champion, 5-time Red Bull 3-Style US finalist. He's an official instructor at a school that we all look up as the heroes of the DJ world, the Beat Junkies Institute, and the sound of BeatJunkies.tv. Let's give it up for Dynamix.
Hey. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome.
What up, Jerome?
Man, so glad to have you, bro. It's been a while since we all got to hang out. I think most of the time it's either at a DJ convention somewhere or a battle somewhere.
Yeah.
Really great to have you here, man. Appreciate you being here.
Yo, thanks for having me, guys.
And shout out to IF2.
Oh, yeah.
Mortal Fatal Fighters.
All right. Man. This next guest is an Air Force veteran born in Miami, raised in Nicaragua, and has been DJing for 19 years, residing back in Miami for over a decade. He's the representative for DJ City Miami and held South Beach residencies during the 2010 era at Mansion, Set, Mackay, FDR, Rockwell. Currently was the resident at the iconic Wood Tavern every Thursday at Coyo and Blackbird. He bounces all over the country and find him in New York City, Texas, Cali, Chicago, one of the greatest open format DJs of the time right now. Let's give it up for our friend DJ Kaz.
Thank you. I'm actually back in Chicago this weekend, so
wow,
back at it. Up, here in another COVID-free city called Miami. It's been open since October. It's just Miami. It's 2019 out here,
Yeah. We'll talk to you about that more.
Oh yeah, we'll get into it for sure.
Our next guest is a Vancouver-based producer and musician with a passion for the bass line. He's jazz trained, raised in a rich musical household with his radio DJ father. He embraces many different styles and genres, but always with the focus on the steady backbone of his main instrument, the bass guitar. Proficient as an instrumentalist on keyboards, turntables, and computer programs, he composes modern music of the day with a strong influence from the history of American jazz, R&B, hip-hop, dance, psychedelic rock music, and he's always challenging himself to make relative music that you can dance to, but with the melancholy and hope all combined into his own sound. He's enjoyed support for many reputable publications and stations such as Pitchfork, Hypertrack, Complex, BBC, Radio 1, and performs regularly in Vancouver and other cities in North America. You can hear his music on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. He's also our brother, a jack of all trades, and wears many hats for Serato, our friend. Let's give it up for Kutcorners!
Yo. What up, Kutcorners, man?
Yes!
Yo, thank you for reading the bio word for word, my guy.
Hey, hey.
This is why we have Chris read and introduce you guys, by the way. Chris,
it would be an honor to jam with you sometime, man.
Hell yeah, Doc.
That's man. I always figure if you're gonna take the time to give it to me, I'm gonna take the time to read it. You know.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
These intros are very good.
That's Chris. Yeah, that's all Chris.
Oh, it's a conversation I have with our guests. They help me. They set me up lovely with what they give me to say about them. So we just really love having you guys, and it's important for us to give you the time. And we also want people to know who you are, especially our last, definitely not least, our guest, who has toured the world playing shows and teaching kick-ass Bikram classes on almost every continent. Last year, her band Tyrone's Jacket released their debut album. In January 2021, she launched her virtual yoga platform, Yoga and Mixtapes, where she spits yoga flames over custom-produced mixtape soundtracks. In the upcoming weeks, she is slated to release Yoga and Doom. That's going to be stellar. And a beginner yoga workout video for hip-hop heads. So dope.
Wow.
As well as her solo project, very aptly titled Third Rye Vision. Let's give it up for our sister, Rye Toad.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Flame.
Thank you for that amazing intro that I wrote this morning. And
you killed it.
And nice to see everybody, and nice to meet you also, DJ Kaz. And
Pleasure. Good to meet you.
yeah, let's have some fun.
Well, we really appreciate you hanging out with a bunch of knuckleheads like us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't get to talk to 8 dudes every single day. So.
Oh man. Well, we're just gonna wrap right into this, and we're gonna kick it off with a quick rapid fire question. And we're just interested to know: is there a hobby or a profession that you've either started to learn or pick up, or a hobby that in this last year since the pandemic, something that was just brand new, fresh, almost maybe even came out of the pandemic? Let's start with Cuddy. Let's put a Cuddy out.
All right. Yeah, this year, actually today, as a matter of fact, I went snowboarding. So I came back from a snowboard today.
Sick.
But yeah, I'd done it a couple times before, but being in Vancouver, Canada, you know what I mean? Why not? Some good mountains here. So that's what I picked up.
Where did you go?
Today I went to Cyprus because Whistler, which is like the most impressive one, is shut down because of COVID. So we've got 3 other mountains we can go within like 40 minutes from where I live, which is pretty sweet.
Dope. And did you come back to Vancouver strictly during the pandemic, or were you living anywhere else before?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've maintained my place in Vancouver the whole time, but I mean, obviously, so much of the business that I do is in the United States. So I'm often in Los Angeles. Rhino's, we got the studio in downtown LA, where we shot a video with Rye Toast actually, I guess 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
oh
that video is sick.
Wow. Yeah, it's really good.
I was like, this is sick.
Yeah, hey Doc, let's put that video in the chat. Let's find it.
No, you bet.
Let the viewers know. All right, who else has got a hobby they picked up? What's up, Rye? What you got?
I started baking.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing. My husband is so happy. I put on like 10, 15 pounds, but I'm into it. It's fun. You get a little extra jiggle, you know, little dessert every night. I've been making like carrot cake cupcakes, everything apple carrot muffins, lavender lemon scones, and obviously brownies, special ones.
Nice.
I was just gonna ask.
Those are my specialties.
I'm assuming though, baking, kind of like DJing, you have to be able to learn how to control your time management really well. If that makes sense, like if you.
Well, okay.
Oh yeah,
So
baking is like you have to be precise. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
like,
I mean, time management, multitasking, those are things that women can just kind of naturally do. Y'all have to learn that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
We are not wired that way.
We have I know I have a superwoman wife, so she always is telling me like, you think that's multitasking? I can show you multitasking.
Make your head spin, I bet.
Yeah. You know a smart husband knows which arguments to take on and which ones to go.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Move on. Got me.
Good man.
Pick your
Kaz, what about you?
Well, similar to Rye, not baking, but just cooking. Like I've been, like 2 years, I kind of started cooking a little bit. I lost like 40 pounds in the last 2 years. So like having free time and like, yeah, thank you. So, you know, trying to not get bored of making the same thing. And I got a Vitamix, like the fancy blender. I got like the biggest air fryer. Like it has like a rotisserie thing in it. So it's just that, you know, like I realized, you know, with all this, it's like everything that I was doing in my life prior was just everything music DJ related. Like, and I just kind of started finding the fun of doing that and disconnecting and cooking, and it's cool. You know, it's refreshing to have a new hobby so later in life, you know.
Especially if you're trying to lose weight, you know, like cooking is really picking up cooking is really important because what are you as far as like diet? What are you using as base for
mainly chicken?
For your
like chicken, yeah, mainly like chicken, and I mean I've made like picadillo, which is like a Cuban ground beef meal, and it's not super healthy, but you know I mix it with cauliflower rice instead of regular rice, and just different.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah, so have you kind of like reduced like the carbs? Is that what?
Yeah. Oh, I don't eat bread. I don't eat bread, no cheese. Like I try to cook as healthy as I can at home. So when I'm out, you know, I don't care. Like when I'm out, I'm like I'm not gonna be that guy. So like, I fast a lot too. So it's all a big healthy, and I run every day. So like everything's put together. So when I'm out DJing, you know, like I can say yes to the shots and the pizza and the late night and all that bullshit, you know. So
How long do you?
It's a balance.
How long do you fast for in a given fast session?
Around 16 to 18 hours, and I try not to eat before a gig. But you know, like I said, things have been more open here, so I've been a lot more lenient, and you know, not falling off, but you know, I just went running right now, and I'm about to make some food in a little bit, and it's just about getting back on it, you know, like never really falling off. So
yeah, we might have to trade some recipes, man, because like
for sure,
I'm on that you know, low carb life. So
yeah, I've been making a lot of bowls, like I'll you know, cauliflower. I'll make vegetables on the air fryer, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, mix it on a bowl and just kind of, you know, munch, and that's it. So it's important, you know, we're getting old.
I was gonna say your joints and your back will certainly appreciate.
Yeah, and our lifestyle isn't the healthiest, isn't the craziest. So like, it's good to keep it good at home, you know, so you can kind of be lenient when you travel, when you're out and whatnot. So
Dynamix,
man. Yeah.
What have you picked up during this last year?
Well, we got a dog in March, so I've been like picking up how to train that one.
Yeah.
We got her for my stepdaughter, but of course I'm helping out train the dog, so I've been learning how to manage that. But at the same time, like that dude is super chill. And he's just like so we adopted him from Taiwan. So he was already housebroken. Like he knows to pee outside, right? And then we got like this bell system, and we put it on the door. That fool already knows how to ring the bell. Like after the first week, to go outside to pee. You know, it's just little things like don't hop on the table and like jack food from the table. Like that was a big one. He was starting to like get a little aggressive on the on like little bones and chew toys like that. But other than that, like he's been good. Like once we built that trust in the first week or two, he's good to go. And then I'm starting to learn like trading stocks and all that stuff.
So dog training.
Yeah.
Training.
Dog training, and then now like trading stocks and just like looking into day trading and stuff like that. But that's the next thing.
Very interesting.
I've been trying to pick it up. Yeah.
Did you get into like the whole meme stocks? That was with the whole GameStop, or
yeah. Did you get into GameStop?
Not into like NFTs or anything like that either. Like,
Yo, crypto gang! Shout out to Bo right here.
Bo knows what's up.
Bo knows.
What's up, Bo?
Does Bo know Bitcoin?
Your crypto.
Does
Bo know Bitcoin?
Bo know crypto.
That's the name of his other Instagram.
Bo know Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Doggy.
Yeah, shout out.
Doggy coin. Yeah.
Is that something Dynamix? Yeah, when you talk about trading stocks, are you looking also into the cryptocurrency exchanges or anything like that?
Yeah, I picked up a little bit of crypto like a few years ago. Just like Ethereum and some others smaller altcoins, but yeah, I haven't really like looked at it since then. I mean, I've looked at it, but I haven't like done jack. Thank God Ethereum is doing what it's doing now with like all the NFTs. So
Oh yeah,
cool. Yeah,
it's really cool to see everybody in the chat right now also shouting out the coins that they're into.
What the hell is that?
I mean, let's hey Doc,
GME?
let's keep rolling with that. Let's keep rolling with that topic because we
were actually talking about the NFT world anyway. Yeah,
it's definitely become part of the I think it was already here before the pandemic, but it's certainly a new. I know a lot of DJs that are very into to Coinbase money making at this point, and my man Jay Skrilla has taken his life from being a producer, hip hop producer, and he was in Bitcoin maybe.
Shouts to Jay Skrilla.
Maybe like 8 years ago, 9, if not more. Just like when it was really like, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. The same time where people were using like the dark web and getting Bitcoin to try to go buy things on the dark web. And I don't know if you guys heard the story, that journalist who left like $60 or 60 worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, and it became like she had like $470,000 or something from that.
Yeah.
It was just left in the account and forgotten about. And
yeah.
So, to people that were in like, and yeah, it's a big thing. So Doc, take us on to that topic for a minute.
Sure. Yeah. So, lately Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has been getting a lot of attention, as it should. And one of the things we were talking about in our production meeting was, would you as a DJ accept payments in a cryptocurrency right now? And what came to mind also as we were talking.
Can you put it in my hand?
You can't. It's no. If you have a cold wallet,
explain to us.
If you have a cold wallet, then
I'm just saying
right.
for the layman.
So a couple, like I guess how would you store your digital assets? You can have it like similar to a pen drive where we put our music. You can have, your cold wallet where you would store your Bitcoin or any kind of digital cryptocurrency asset. And so as you do a gig, would you take Bitcoin as a payment? And right now, as Miami and the mayor of Miami is wanting to change the brand of Miami into like Bitcoin City, is that something you could see yourself doing?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely would. I mean, my thing with it is just as long as I have somewhere to spend it. If I can get paid in it and I can, I don't know, pay my cell phone bill or like my rent or have a lane where it's going to be used for. Like, all right, if you want to pay me with this, if you want to pay me with that, and I can pay something with that. And, just like a certain check, we all do it. Like you have one account or one gig that you do in like, maybe like a residency and you're like, all right, this residency is what pays my bills,
Mm-hmm.
So it's something similar to that where you align that payment to be paying something off. I'm definitely being out for that, and as things keep growing, I've seen like ATMs here, and I know different businesses. Tesla just started accepting Bitcoin. So as things keep going, and more businesses accept it, I'm super down. As long as it holds value. So
right,
yeah.
And if somebody offered more Bitcoin than like dollars, I'd be like, yeah, why not?
Win-win, yeah.
Like for real. So.
And Rye, you go around and play in a lot of different places. What would you say if someone offered, like maybe they wanted to book you 6 months out and we're like, hey, I'm going to send you half deposit. Can I send it to you in Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, that's perfect. I have enough time to research and figure out what the heck it is.
Nice.
Okay.
You guys know trucknology takes me a minute, okay?
Doc Plus got your back.
Thank you. I would hit you up.
Sure.
That would be my first call. Slide right into your DM.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let me talk to my people first.
I gotta go.
Happy to answer any questions. Yeah, it's something that it's super interesting. I mean, it's gonna, I can see it. Right now, a lot of people are comparing it to like digital gold, Bitcoin in particular, right? It's kind of like you were saying, Kos, like it may be something that would be you could use to pay for some bills. But not necessarily like go out and buy a cup of coffee just yet.
Right.
Cuddy, what about if someone came up to you and was like, man, I really love that track. I don't know. Can I pay for it in Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, just hearing what you guys are saying, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't really spend that much time researching it. I've watched a few things about it here and there, but what's so different than PayPal? I mean, money is such a subjective thing these days. It's just dollars and numbers and account. I mean, I have this whole pandemic, like everything's been cashless in Vancouver, so I just use my phone to pay for shit, and like, my card just tapping. I haven't been like actually doing any cash business, so I mean, really, what's the difference? And
I guess the main difference is PayPal is still based off the American dollar. So Bitcoin can basically be based off of like, I don't know, I'll take it from there.
Well, here's a good example. Here is a good example. Like I remember Crooked on the Road podcast. He was discussing about this, that he like, I think 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, he got offered to get paid via Bitcoin. And of course he didn't take it. And come to find out, like the amount I guess he got offered is now worth like 6 digits.
Oh,
right. But that's something, that's a good way to think about it. Like when you're thinking about like getting paid via crypto, there is like a appreciation to it.
But there's a flip, because there was a point where it was like at 20K and then it dropped to like 12.
Dropped to like 10.
So you could get your like 6-month deposit, and it just by the time you get to your gig, it might be, if you still kept it in there,
right?
Happens then, it's like now it's worth nothing.
That's the other thing, real quick, just about like Bitcoin and I mean even stocks too. Like people talk about the ups, people never talk about the downs. So like if I get paid in that sense and I can cash out right away, cool, but it's because you can lose it, you can make more. It's up to you. It's a gamble like everything else. So
right.
I'm with you, Kaz, man. I think that's the thing that I'm not interested in. Like no offense to anybody. I'm all for the stock market. It's just I just don't get it. You know what? I don't really want to invest, and I'm not really a gambling kind of guy. I'm just really conservative with money. So, right. I mean, I think that if you're into that side of things and Bitcoins, that must be so dope. You know what I mean? Like it's like stocks, or it's like you can win big. But if you're like me and kind of boring, don't care about that. It's probably not for you, right?
I'm assuming all of it came from the base of just kind of like how all the stock market works and how just. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot more volatile than like the traditional stock market, but it works in like the same way.
Volatile. You say volatile to somebody like to Cuddy, he's like volatile. Like that's not a good word to describe.
Right. And Dynamix, I'm sure you could chime in here, right? Like what that means, I guess, in trading is when a price moves up and down really rapidly. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's not stable, like a more stable growth would be something like, maybe 2%, 5% gain.
I think he was more saying that like, if you're calling it more volatile than a stock market, you're like saying, I like to shoot AK-47s, not pop shotguns. It's like, it is.
You're going to lose your crowd immediately almost after. People who are already on the fence are going to be like, what the fuck, nothing.
Because, the stock market is such a stable, secure place. Anything that can be manipulated on Reddit is pretty dangerous.
like GameStop.
Drug Rug Joe says 1 Bitcoin was $400 5 years ago. Now it's worth $59,000.
To that point, Drug Rug Joe, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a fact. And also another fun fact is that Tesla, right?
Yeah, I was going to say about Tesla. I just saw that last night too.
He bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin in February. And with that initial investment, Tesla has made more profits from that growth, the depreciation of that Bitcoin, than the last 10 years selling cars.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But then I was looking at their price also, right? So a few years back, maybe 5 years ago or so like that, like Tesla was selling at like $60 per share. It's at $700 now.
True.
Yeah. So you're multiplying your whatever you put in times 10. You know what I mean?
That's one of the few stocks that I do have, and it's it's good. It went down a little bit, and it's one of those long term.
The rise though, like
that's a good thing.
Was insane. Yeah. It's like just like watching Bitcoin like grow from zero. It was a super sharp spike the way Tesla went up. I think all of that happened like in a year where it just multiply tenfold.
Could Dynamix, could you picture yourself, like NFTs have been like such a craze of late, especially they've drawn a lot more interest in people creating art just in one scenario. Could you see yourself like making a piece of art, whether it's a mixtape or even like
a video, question.
And then putting it up for an NFT of like a crazy mixtape you put together that had exclusives nobody had, or your own edits that you only
that would
made
be
for
like
that.
the digital equivalent of that Wu-Tang album that came out.
The Dynamix.
That's what we were talking. Yeah. We were talking about that in the meeting. You know what? In the meeting, we never got to talk about Martin Shkreli though. You were like, could this be the way it moves forward? But the very first time it kind of even brought itself up, it was fucked up because it got in the hands of Martin Shkreli, and he was like, I don't want anybody to have this.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that
happened.
Yeah, that's gonna happen no matter what. You know what I mean? It's a bidding war, so whoever is the highest bidder is just gonna end up in that person's hands no matter what.
Yeah. Screw Martin Shkreli, by the way.
So other than in Miami, everybody else, and Kaz, we know you've been playing live. I think last time you've been on the show, you've been playing. You were out playing, or getting ready to start playing.
Yeah, because I remember we talked in, I think it was May or June, and I did a Cinco de Mayo stream with for Koyo with Craze and a few of us, and it was like the first time that I literally had gone somewhere, and like, you know, Koyo's a very small room, and we were just kind of hanging out, and it was like the beginning of that. But then we shut down in the summer, and then it opened up September, October. We shut down for like a few months, and then since October, it's just been one thing after another, and then we like just opening up, and then they put a curfew, which just got lifted on the 12th. But it's crazy because I was in Dallas 2 weeks ago, and to me, Dallas is like, you know, the number one, the first place of like, you know, the open, like setting the standard. So we're number 2, number 3, you know, and things are just coming around. Things are coming along, and it's good. You just got to be smart, because I'll let everybody know. Like, I've been telling people, like, hey, you know, you're 2-3 steps behind us. Just get ready for like the cutthroat shit, because DJs are on some real cutthroat shit right now. Like, they're on some real savage shit because budgets are down. You know, like it all depends on the relationship and the connection that you have with the booker and everybody. So, I mean, I'm just warning everybody, like, yo, like, snakes are coming out the grass, people that you used to fuck with, you know, like, it's going to happen, you know, and there's going to be budget.
Thanks for keeping it real, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always...
We need to hear that. That's good.
How do you feel about, like, DJs moving to Florida?
So, let me break that down. And I've dealt with a lot of DJs. I've dealt with a lot of DJs. City, man. But I mean, a lot of y'all know me. I keep it real. You follow me on Twitter, you know. I don't
absolutely.
Like, I'm forward. So I've had DJs that I've met here. I've had DJs, friends of mine, like personal good friends of mine from other cities, be like, yo, I'm moving out here. And I tell them this, don't do it. Because first of all, like, the work that is open here, it's not as much as there was. People, it's like, oh, it's open. So the amount of DJs, I'd say about 80% of DJs are working right now. That 20% isn't working. And out of those 80%, you know, I'm not working my full 4, 5, 6 regular gigs I do a week. You know, I'm doing 3 or 4, maybe some weekends even 2. So unless your boy owns a club, unless you have a production company that you have it lined up, like, don't, you know, like, I'm moving to Miami to make it. No, don't, because you have to have something. Like, you have to have an in, or you have to have this, or, you know, if you have a day job, like, if you're out here just to, like, coming to make it, right now is not the time. And I'm just being forward, because look, like, a lot of my homies, a lot of people in my agency, like, not everybody's working, you know, and it's if we're not working and you know, we're deeply rooted into these places or into these connections, and like, I don't know how any of you guys gonna do it, you know, and I was like this pre-corona, like, if you're moving to Miami, like I did it with literally nobody, but I had family and everything, and I played the long game, and I organically grew and did everything, and now it's even worse. So now it's like, if you're gonna do it, have a game plan, like, seriously, because there's a lot of DJs that are just winging it, and they think, and they're, you know, desperate, and they want this and they want that. But look, things are gonna open up in your city eventually, and like, just be patient. You know, it sucks, but I'm just being honest, you know.
I think what it really does is it speaks to the desperation of the situation wherever they are. That wherever they were and they were successful. You're probably coming from a mindset of being a successful DJ wherever you are. Therefore, you think I can go anywhere and be successful. And kind of what you're doing is cutting through all that and saying like, listen, you know, you're making this decision out in a place of irrationality,
out of stress,
you know, out of stress. And it's dangerous, you know.
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I just to that point exactly. I mean, it's easy to think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, kind of thing.
Right, and it's you know, I tell everybody just, you know, be confident in yourself. And you know, when I wasn't working, I started doing more radio stuff. I started venturing into other DJ related lanes. You know, I have a show locally here in Globalization, and kind of like A&Ring a little bit with some artists, and just finding a different lane. So if you can find something that kind of like keeps you afloat, you know, like DJ EFN says that it's like you have to have something to finance your dream, you know, like it's okay to get a day job. It's okay to like, you know, do something, you know, do these gigs to fuel your dream and fuel everything else. So if you find some kind of balance until things kind of pick up, you know, and once it picks up, do not expect it to be at 100%. Do not expect payment to be 100%. Do not expect the gigs to be 100%. The energy, like all of us struggled at some point. All of us came up. All of us did it for the love. And we can easily just do it again, you know, like we did it, we can do it again.
Word up. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
So real quick, I want to throw that to the other three of our guests that are not in a state where everything is wide open right now. So let's do this rapid fire real quick, starting with Dynamix. If you get a phone call, let's say 6 months from now, and they're saying the clubs are opening back up, are you in or are you out?
I've already started working. So I did Halloween and New Year's Eve in Dallas. But I came like fully masked up. It was perfect because Halloween, I just was I was a surgeon for Halloween, so I was like hella masked up anyway. I was like, genius. What are they gonna tell me? You know what I mean? But at the same time, like the spot that I did it at was we had it on an outdoor stage. And where I was at, like the closest anybody could really get near me was about 10 feet. So I was cool with that. You know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, I'm on board. I'm on board with that venue. You know what I mean? But yeah, I remember when everybody, like people used to hit us up in LA, like, yo, I'm moving out to LA. Like, and I was like, dude, don't do it. Like I know so many people that moved out here and it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? So I feel what Kaz is saying. You really have to have those built-in relationships already, and have momentum with them to be able to go in and try to make something. But when there's not as many opportunities, it's just, man,
you're grinding from the beginning again.
Yeah. So
that's real.
That's my take on it. Yeah.
Kutcorners, how you feeling about that? 6 months from now, phone rings, clubs are open. Are you in or you out?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm so happy I have a job. You know, like this is not trying to be weird or anything. Just I'm so happy that I have like a job. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like a long time ago, when I was DJing full time, I really wanted to like just not depend on it. It was a decision that I made for myself, and I'm really glad I did it. And it's not to knock anyone who on either side. There's no right or wrong answer for any of that. But it's just I'll be honest with you, I never really got into clubs that much myself. I just didn't like it, you know. So this kind of, I've been able to get through this really well, and you know, Twitch and doing radio, you know, like what you know Kaz said, like doing AR stuff or making music is really what is my passion. So I mean, if clubs call up and they want to pay me, yeah, sure, maybe, you know, but I'm not really trying to pick up a residency, you know.
Can I ask a little bit more about like how you're working with the AR stuff?
Well, I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm working with a couple friends, and I'm helping produce and mix, and you know, just like put people together. You know, it's, I mean, like where I live in Vancouver, you know, it's a small place, and it's not like LA, you know, like where there's a lot of people, and there's a lot. Oh, I mean, it's like anywhere really. You're trying to get ahead. You're trying to put a shine on certain people, and a lot of what I like to do is just kind of like put people together or try and connect people and try and make things happen, especially for Vancouver. You know, like everyone should be proud of where they're from, no matter where you're from. And you should like try and elevate the people around you wherever you are. And yeah, so I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to say.
That's what's up.
1,000.
I just wanted to add real quick to what Kutcorners was saying. Just like, because what I've been doing, I've been working with a lot of artists, and something for just as another side topic for DJs. Like, like we know what works. Like, we're DJs. Like, we've been doing this shit for a long time. So I'll sit with an artist and they'll play me music, and I'll tell them, I like this, I like that. This fits for this, this fits for that. And I do, I'm very open format, and I do family stuff. I do clubs. I do hip hop nights. I do Latin nights. So I tell them, I'm like, look, if you want to make certain music, like, have an audience. And if you're gonna make a kind of popular song, don't have any bad words, because that way it can get played way more. Just little gems, and just make something friendly. And I always use the like the Guatemala, the Ray Shremmer example. Like, we championed that song as DJs, and we were like, yo, that shit's gonna blow up. It never blew up, but we played it, and that was a song that I could play at a club, or I could play at a pool, or I can play in multiple environments. So I tell these artists, like, yo, make music that's flexible to be played anywhere else. You can get played at a pool and somebody Shazams it, and now you have a new listener on Spotify. So little things like that, and kind of what going back, like putting people together, and hey, I know this person, I know that person, and that way somebody will hit you up, and it all comes full circle. So it's just an angle for DJs to think of,
Yeah, we have multiple skill sets, and I don't think a lot of people consider like what our experience allows us to do in all of these adjacent spaces. It's not necessarily being in the booth all the time.
Exactly,
you could be supporting an artist. So, number 3, I'm gonna pitch the question to Rye Toast. Maybe we can modify, remix it a little bit. So the clubs call up 6 months from now, or you get the call for Time Ruins Jacket 6 months from now. Are you in? You're on the road, or you're not?
I mean, I'm usually in, but like for me, it's always just about the details and the vibe, and like just it's never like a yes or no. It's like, all right, well, tell me about it. So, and I agree with so much of what you said, Cut. Just like towards the before Corona, I mean, I was really grateful for all my gigs. Don't get me wrong, but I was already approaching a place of being like, all right, what else is there for DJing? Because I don't want to be tied to being in bars and clubs 4 or 5 nights a week for much longer.
Bingo.
It's one thing if you want to do it and it's like a dope party, like the do-over, something that you've always wanted to do. Man, I would be so inspired to do something like that. But if it's just like you said, a residency, like, I don't know, it just depends. But I'm always open, and like I love DJing, so I can't wait to like continue to share it with people. And I've had not a lot. I've had a handful of really amazing gigs come my way, and like throughout this year that are very like niche, which like I didn't even know that DJing was like good for these things. But like I've been DJing cover shoots for Spin Magazine and doing a lot more like stuff in the yoga scene and stuff in like the creative production scene and the art scene. And it's just been really fun using music for like different reasons than just like helping people rage and like release stress on a Friday night, which is super valuable too. But just, a different take on the same thing. I like that. I like gigs that give me that.
And you created some opportunities out of that too. Sorry to cut you off, Doc. Your yoga tape. I wanted to get into that, but Doc, why don't you take it away?
No, just shout out to the stretch routine for DJs. I find myself doing my own as well, so I think it's great that you're doing them. Yeah.
Stop lying.
I was telling you guys, I DJ with my shoes off. I like to stretch before playing. Like,
I've been
comfortable.
You're very aligned. I can tell by the way you sit.
Oh, thank you.
I've been going to yoga for like a year and a half, so I'm super about it. And we'll talk. We'll side talk later about that, because I preach it to DJs so much, and like, my life fucking changed after I did it, and like,
Well, wait a minute, Doc. Are you sitting on the yoga ball right now?
No, I know.
In our meeting, she sits on the yoga ball, and he's like bouncing. And we're like, hey, can you chill for a second? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, guys.
No, stop bouncing. So my sister is actually a yoga instructor. I think she teaches rocket yoga. What kind of yoga do you teach, right?
So I'm certified to teach Bikram yoga, which is the like original hot yoga 90 minutes, 26 postures, 2 breathing exercises, and like anywhere from like 108 to like 120 degrees.
Woo! Out there.
Yeah, yeah. And then I kind of made like a shorter version of it. I squished it down into 60 minutes, and that's what I've been creating. So I've been creating like 60-minute mixtapes that go with the posture. So it's like the perfect kind of just like
so
moving with the music, and it moves a little quicker. So it's like less wordy and more like meditative. And so that's kind of like officially I'm a Bikram teacher, but this new kind of like program that I'm creating called Yoga and Mixtapes is like my take on Bikram. Like I want to get in and out in an hour, and I want to have fun. I don't want it to be so serious. So
I think probably should convert your mixtape into like an NFT.
Right? Well,
it's not copyrighted. Yeah, listening to this conversation, because I do have an artist working on some original art for it, and I think that's a great idea.
Especially with the artist that you're doing on your next one. I feel like that's the NFT kind of mode. Doom is that type of persona for NFTs. You know,
you're right.
If any of you guys are considering it, I would recommend so there are really 2 main places where you would launch an NFT and then buy it off a marketplace, kind of similar to eBay, where you would bid on it. And that would be OpenSea, which is one. And that's Ethereum.
SEA.
Like sea, like the ocean, OpenSea.io. And then that's the main one that it's got a lot of people on it. It's one of the first. But it's all Ethereum based, so you actually need to own Ethereum to buy anything on it.
Oh wow!
And then you have, so if you're not familiar with crypto to begin with, then you're like you're not going to find those people there. But then you have Arcane, which is another marketplace which actually integrates with PayPal. So it's smaller and newer, but that's the one I would recommend honestly for artists like us, because the gas fees, which are the fees associated with making any transaction with Ethereum, are so high that, like, for example, I tried to buy something of $50 worth in Ethereum, and the gas fee was $25. So I was like, never mind. That's like way too much.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it can be like that. So Arcane is the newer, but I would say future in thinking of like a marketplace for NFTs and crypto for artists.
And there's other ones as well. Those are definitely that's big too. I just found out about Ghost Market, and there's a lot of information floating around. So I will say I am not a financial expert. I'm just very interested in learning more. And I think Doc, you probably have all of us on this.
I'm not a financial advisor. None of this. This is for educational purposes only.
Yeah, disclaimer.
I feel like NFT mixtapes have a home, but I don't want to say anybody should invest.
Before Ride Toast takes that block and throws it through your window for
no. But educational purposes only, not financial advice.
Back to
the block has to have a chain attached to it too. So
blockchain.
Blockchain, right?
Bad jokes.
You're sitting
bad jokes.
Blockchain. That's it. Rye's got the blockchain.
Another thing that's
the yoga blockchain.
It's so important about having as DJs, when you're not only are you out late and not sleeping the normal hours of most people, but you're on your feet and you're completely immobile for the most part. For if you DJ a lot, 20 to 24 hours any given week, that you're not sitting in a chair, but you're standing up. And the amount of, my wife's a physical therapist, so I've had the luxury of many times being like, my back is thrown out, I can't even move, and she can manipulate it, stretch it, and get me back onto my feet for a night. But she showed me a couple of really just super nugget, golden jewel exercises. But the most effective one you could ever have is, you ever seen like the foldable step stools that are kind of thin and like you pop it and it's a little step stool like to get into a closet? It fits right in. It fits right into a DJ bag. There you go.
There you go.
That's the exact one. If that's in your DJ bag and you prop it up in the DJ booth, and from time to time in a night you just rest one leg up onto that, it takes all the pressure off your back. It changes everything about And if you're ever in a bad spot, I've taken that to the DJ booth a few times, and it's like life changing. You get through a night.
Or you can just put your foot on like the monitor or whatever else is there.
if you're so lucky to have something to
Rockstar
prop up, for sure.
I do that too. I never have brought a prop, but I always do that. I like do that on both legs, get a little back stretch on each side, and then I'm reset.
I'm always stretching. I'm like always stretching. No,
let me show you guys a major key for being comfy. This is like my DJ and my yoga room, but like check this out. This little squish mat for your turntables right here.
That was my next.
Yeah.
That was my next thing.
The fatigue mats.
Yeah, the fatigue mat.
Get yourself a squish mat. You won't regret it.
Yeah, that's
facts.
It's funny when they moved the last time that they moved the booth at Wood Tavern, like all the old DJs were like, "We just want the fatigue mat. We don't care about anything else." Like they're like, "Oh, what do you guys want a fridge? I want this." And we're like, "No, we just want the fatigue mat." Like that shit does. I know people that take them to gigs. Like, yo, it is life changing. Like.
Yeah,
you know, it's like Ultra Boost, but a mat. You know, like.
Trust me, I've been doing this shit in friggin' stilettos for like a decade. I know all the tricks.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm usually in some very comfortable Air Maxes or something.
Yeah, facts, same.
You know, like
Me
that's
too
a whole
now.
other level.
Ever since I started trying turntablism, I had to ditch heels because it's like balancing on your tippy toes as well as doing these super fine movements. Like, no, Brian, no, one or the other.
Or just keep some Crocs in the car, man, on the ride home, man. Just take out your shoes.
Like I do.
Wear those Crocs, man, or sandals.
I definitely have comfy shoes for the ride home.
Aww.
Especially for like weddings, like doing like a mobile gig, going out for like 10, 12 hours. I definitely have like the ride home outfit. You know?
Yes!
Oh, I definitely. Yo,
fuck that.
Gotta get snuggly.
Yeah.
Cuddy, have you or we'll throw this to you and then Dynamix I feel like Cuddy, you probably already had pretty good sleeping and eating habits just based on the fact you saying that you weren't out in the clubs much. But have you noticed any like more of a focus on really watching what you eat or really getting like the hours of sleep since the last year?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know what's really cool? First of all, I just want to say it's really cool that like a lot of like Kaz and Rai were talking so much about like health, like physical health stuff, because I mean, I think that we all really need to address that. Yeah, we're getting old, and that's such an important thing, not only for our physical but for our mental health as well. And on that note, like recently my dog died, and it was really shitty. I don't know if you ever lost an animal. Really terrible thing to happen. But
horrible. Sorry to hear that, man.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, it sucks. But one of the best things about having a dog is that they get you walking, and you get out of the house. And we were walking my dog like 4 times a day. Right. And when that stops, it's really sad. And it's also sad that you don't have to walk. So actually what my partner and I do every morning, we get up first thing in the morning, like 7 a.m. we go for a walk. And it's like, we're in the metric system in Canada. So 2.5 kilometers, which is, I guess, like 1.5 miles or something. And we just do that every morning, and it's like good for the old circadian rhythm. It gets you up and moving, gets you outside, breathing oxygen, and little physical exercise. It's not much, and I still do other, I do yoga and I do like skipping and stuff as well. But just doing that every day is like incredible for sleeping and everything, So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really recommend that.
Something that I do. It's gonna sound kind of wild, but I drink water with lime and ginger, hot water with lime and ginger every day in the morning. And I do that, and then I drink tea. I don't drink coffee, but like I do that first, and then it's like a super good anti-inflammatory, and it just boosts your immune system. Like it just gives me like a kick, and then I start my day, and then I'll have tea after.
That's a big key, man. Like right there, like eating anything that's anti-inflammatory. Like I've taken up to where I eat a lot of like food, like Indian food, like because it's heavy in turmeric and all those good spices that keeps your metabolism going. But it also like it helps with your joints and I mean Filipinos. I'm Filipino myself. I'm suffering from gout, so it kind of relieves a little bit on that end too.
And the Filipino diet is crazy, man. There's so much salt and oil in our food, bro.
It's also really good, Kaz, to do. Did you say lime and ginger first thing in the morning?
Oh, sorry, lemon.
Lemon ginger. Do you do it hot or cold?
No, I do it hot. Yeah,
Nice.
I do it hot. I cut the lemon in half. I squeeze it and I drop it, and I cut ginger in little cubes. Let it sit there for a few minutes, and then like start answering my emails and do everything. Just slowly sipping.
So lemon, ginger, and hot water.
So, yeah.
Also, like when you do that first thing in the morning, it's even more powerful and more healthy for your body because your body's been fasting all night, and you're like primed. Whatever you take in, you're going to absorb all the possible nutrients, all the hydration, and that's going to set the tone for your metabolism for the day. So this is really important. Like first of all, don't wake up and just brush your teeth with toothpaste. Yeah. You don't want that to be the first thing that your body metabolizes.
Right.
You can
good call.
Yeah, you can do something like Kaz is doing, or even just a glass of water, like room temp, is a great way.
Yeah.
You might not even need coffee after you sip on that. You know.
I second that. I chug a glass of water.
I do the same thing,
and it actually wakes me up like better than a cup of coffee. For sure.
And then tea, like I was drinking a lot of tea after it, and I just stopped because it was giving me. It was like. I felt like my body was taking in too much, and I was drinking black tea too. So it's like,
it's the same as coffee. Yeah,
pretty much. So it's like I kind of stopped on that and just big on the water. Sometimes I'll do double waters, and I feel good. And I suggest same thing as yoga. I suggest that shit to everybody. Like,
that's beautiful. It's so simple, but it's like it can be a game changer.
That I feel like there's probably a whole bunch of people in the chat that just had their mind blown by not brushing their teeth in the morning.
I don't follow it. That's right. All right, so real quick, I just wanted to bring up. I plugged a couple things in the chat from our conversation on NFTs. The two marketplaces, OpenSea, the Ethereum-based marketplace, and on that one, I actually do have some NFTs on there. You can check them out. They're from our augmented reality live streams that we've done, me and a colleague here in Austin. But we're going to move to Arcane because that's going to be much cheaper in the long run. And fun fact about Arcane, that's the one that I don't know if some of you guys heard, maybe you guys in LA for sure. But Logan Paul recently had like a big NFT launch where he, it's funny. It's also pretty genius, I guess, but it's
not dumb. It's not dumb.
No, right? He had some Pokemon, like rare Pokemon cards that he actually burned after digitizing them and then putting them up on the Arcane marketplace, and in total earned about $1 million worth in sales just from those like 7 Pokemon cards.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
It's a troll, but that's actually a really smart move.
Yeah. Because I guess what you're doing is you're like investing in this artist as well. And, when you buy something of his or that artist of hers, right, you're if that artist grows, then the value of that.
Well, if you think, and I think we should close this topic for a bit because we are not a financial show, as we said, but but an original.
This is where I get all my financial advice.
No.
What do you mean this isn't a financial show?
DJ school.
That's where I'm going wrong.
Educational purposes.
A painting or a like any kind of sculpted art or anything like that is pretty much like an NFT. It is a one-off thing. It's only musicians or people that are trying to get multiple listens or plays or purchases of that kind of art. It's very different from how art is built and as a painter or a sculptor or something. So it is kind of catching up.
I think if we had to learn something from the past year, during the pandemic, I think it's like, DJs really need to learn how to diversify their,
bonds.
Really diversify their bonds. No, but like, you gotta, for the future, especially, man, like set up different types of revenue, for yourself, like getting some passive income. To make money for you, that sort of thing. So that's the biggest lesson financially. I think we've all learned throughout the whole pandemic. Yeah. It's like, it's you really can't rely on just DJ, man. You just got to figure out other ways to gain some good income, that'll work for you. And Wu-Tang Financial.
Oh, and even, there's, to Gio's point, there's a lot of DJs that like I DJ in nightclubs, I do private events, I do sporting events, like Rye, you're talking about, just random places that I get hired to be a DJ that you would have never thought. And so in your mind, you're like, I'm so diversified even as a DJ. But a pandemic has taught us that you're not, even if you have all these alternate avenues of DJing, that's still not true diversification.
I mean, the big example are the people that's like killing it on Twitch right now, but they're also, they've gotten into like the merchandising. And at the end of the day, if you're somebody in the music industry, an artist, musician, you make most of your money from like touring and merchandise.
Merchandise sales.
A lot of people that's on Twitch making money on Twitch are making more money because of merchandising opportunities.
Yeah. There's one DJ that shall remain nameless for now, but they told me that like they went on Twitch and they made like a little bit of money from the subs and stuff, but they made like tens of thousands of dollars from merch. And they were like, it's just for a T-shirt that they decided to make for that stream, and they keep doing it.
You could.
I mean, they're a big DJ.
And I think there was also something that Rye said that I think resonated with me to bring up, is she started to say, I'm kind of getting tired of playing in nightclubs and bars and that type of avenue. And what's going to happen to most people is either you're going to get tired of it or they're going to get tired of you. Because at some point you're going to, like, no one, unless you're a unicorn, like the 60-year-old dude playing trap music to people that could be their grandchildren, is not a cool look. And you're going to need to, this pandemic has taught us how quickly it could be gone. And that's how quick it can get cut off on you. And so everybody needs to be thinking about their plan. The reality is the majority of us are still going to need to be working at 60. You're not going to be retired, sitting back, cut on something. And if you haven't planned for your future in ways that are going to take care of you, or learn how to position out of that to your next things, you're doing yourself a disservice, because this will, for the 90% of people that make their living at DJing, at some point they will time out. Because just think about how many 60-year-old DJs do you know right now? And there's plenty of people that are 60 that started DJing when they were our age and younger. And so it's a reality that we all have to face at some point.
I think something that, it kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier, that, we have a talent and we have different lanes that we can grow into. I hate the mentality, and not to like say anything against a 6-year-old DJ, but when we all heard it, you're gonna be 40 in the club. I remember when they told me you'll be 30 in the club. I'm like, I've been 30, bro. What's up?
I'm talking to you now.
But the thing is that like our job, like where we're at, didn't exist 20 years ago. Yeah. Where we're at was an illusion 20 years ago. And we've slowly become we're a growing job, a career that like you're going to find different things. You can become a PD for a radio station. You can become, a tour manager for somebody. There's so many different avenues that we are sitting on, so many different resources that we're sitting on. So, don't be discouraged because you're not DJing.
Exactly.
Put out some kind of content. I'm a huge, whatever it is, be consistent on it and let people know, like throughout quarantine and everything. I wasn't on Twitch, but I was doing mixes, I was doing radio, and just finding it, because it's we're creating our own lane and we're creating our own career, and it's totally. don't be disillusioned because of that, but also be realistic. Like, you're not going to be 60 in the club DJing trap shit for 20-year-old kids, know your lane, know what fits you, know where your brand is going. So
unless you're Tiesto.
Right.
Yeah, there are always going to be unicorns. Rest in peace, Sam Burns. 60 plus years old, still like commanding a crowd of 20-somethings that looked up to him as their minister. But that's a very rare person that you're going to find in that type of setting. But it's kind of like an athlete that goes from being the star that ends up being like a scout for the organization. Right. You have to figure out how to find another role.
That's why I love artists like Nas and like Jay-Z, people that evolve with the times, but they keep themselves and they get influenced by new generations, but it never knocks them from who they actually are. Like Black Thought, like
Q-Tip at the Kennedy Center,
and they just stay evolving and they stay dope and they stay themselves. I always like people like that across all genres and all platforms. They always stand out to me because I'm trying to age like that.
Right.
If I may, I think that's actually a really good point. And my dad is actually a radio DJ, and he is in his 60s, going to be 70 this year. But like just to your point, like his. Hold on. His job though did not exist. Like when he was a kid, when his mom was around. So his mom was like, "Nah, you're never going to be able to do that." And that's something that we have to consider is like the world is going to change, and who knows how it's going to change. It could be for better or worse. But the most important thing I'd like to say specifically about my father is that like he was actually a really good role model, and that's something I really wish that like DJs in general had a bit more of. And I look at people like Jazzy Jeff and Kenny Dog and DJ Spinner, and these guys are really good examples of people that have really made it. And to your point, right? Like Nas and Jay, where they've been able to work within an industry and create like kind of a mentorship or role model for like people that want to be in that business. And yeah, Kaz, like you said, people that are like, I think of people like like the DJ City crew, or like people like the program directors like you're talking about, the people that are in the industry, and they might not necessarily be like the guy at the club DJing, but they've done that and now they've moved on. And I think that it'd be really great if there was a bit more documentation or a story around that for specifically the music industry.
I totally agree with that.
I think you led really nicely into something I wanted to ask Dynamix about, that because you're really diversified in a lot of the different ways that you show your art. And what do you kind of see yourself doing in the near future that you're really going to focus on hard at coming out from where we've been and moving in?
I'm still trying to figure out those next steps. Luckily enough for me, I had a lot of internet opportunities when the podcast when the pandemic hit. So I was okay. You know what I mean? But as far as the next stuff, I'm of course like I love DJing. I want to do so much with it, but I'm also that's why I was like looking into like stocks and like how to save and put money away that way, or just ways to make passive income so that I won't have to heavily rely on physically being somewhere to make money. Like I'd be able to make money while I'm sleeping or something like that.
While I'm sleeping,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and we're lucky we have two guys out on our podcast that were Goldie finalists.
Yeah.
And I know as one wanted to talk to you about that a little bit and get this conversation going, because I think the Goldie Awards, we all think that it was a really pivotal point of, and really it's a benchmark in a time.
That was an important moment
in this pandemic.
That was so cool, man.
Take it away, Az.
Yeah, I simply was saying, hey, did you guys realize that there's going to be two members of the recent Goldie battle in the thing? I think that might be something we could talk about. But yeah, so Goldie Awards 2021 just went down. A star-studded, hand-picked group of 8 DJs and 8 producers for the finals by the crew, A-Track, basically. Let's just talk about that. So how was the Goldies for you, Dynamix? Did overall, also, let's shout out Lazy Boy. We talked about Lazy Boy earlier. Shout out to DJ Lazy Boy who won.
Big ups.
Heck yeah.
Big ups to that homie. Like crazy stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
How did it feel for you going into Goldies? And I'll say what I say after. But yeah.
Going into Goldies, it was, man, I just knew it was like, this is a world final. I haven't been to a world final, right? I haven't made it past nationals, getting out of Red Bull 3 style. So to be on the national, like these are the
stage,
the 8 of the best in the world. Like, damn, that was already tough going in. So my approach to that was, okay, I can't be doing the same approach that I was doing for Red Bull 3 style. Like this is gonna be way tougher. And so I was just like picking up like self-help books on how to expand your creativity and how to do all that shit. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, fuck, man, I'm in this whole like I'm in one process of thinking I need to break myself out and just start thinking about like the bigger picture and try to figure out how I'm gonna take these guys out, because like looking at Fumi's videos, like he's just head and shoulders like skills and speed.
Shouts out to my brother DJ Fumi.
Yeah, it's insane. So it's like, how do you take someone's attention away from that and focus on something else, and then stand out? And Lazy was able to execute that perfectly. I told him, I was like, yo, you know, it's so dope because the skill stuff eventually you can catch up, right? But the imagination part of it is a gift like that. No one can teach you that.
Yes, true that.
So it was just dope, like the way he approached it, because somebody already like put that in my head, like, yo, keep in mind, you're gonna be on the internet. You got to take advantage of that space and do some like ill video shit. But my mind wasn't where Lazy's was at. So to see him execute that, I was just like, oh, this guy, insane. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you know, to Lazy Boy, I basically did not argue with that end result whatsoever. I was with it. I was like, yeah, I would have chosen him too. I think us as the crew watched it, and throughout the text chain, these guys, yeah, Lazy Boy. It was between Humi and Lazy Boy. But, you know, for me, it was like a time thing. I look at battles as time. You say, how many minutes you giving? 5 minutes. Okay, so a DMC is 6 minutes for a showcase. Red Bull, 15 minutes. This is less than both. So at the end of the day, it was like, all right, who's going to fill the time the best in my mind? Really, like everybody is dope. Like there's no doubt about it. If you get a call from A-Track to be in a battle, like, you know, you're not a spring chicken, maybe. Or maybe you are. Maybe you're DJ Michelle, you know, and that's the beauty of this battle. But I think for your set, you filled that 5 minutes so well. Yeah, absolutely. You were to tell a story. You were able to diss people. You were able to kind of do you, and you did it on the controller. Which a lot of people, you know, it's not that. I think not to take anything away from Rocket Jackson. He was on a controller in Goldie's at 1.2. But yeah, you definitely took it there, man. And
but here's the thing with Dynamix is, you know, I mean, you know, Dynamix, you've been known to like do bust out routines, you know, on controllers anyway. So it's like, regardless, it's like, so it's dope. And going that route in the battle, it's even doper, man. But I kind of feel like Goldie. What do you guys think? Goldie Awards? Do you think that was the highest viewed online DJ battle like ever?
I'm imagining.
Looking at that chat, I feel like it was, but comparing to DMC, it's going to be hard to say.
I mean, that was my other thing. I had just come off of DMC Supremacy, and like I had been dealing with that whole thing with Christy and trying to make that Supremacy head-to-head online happen. If you guys haven't seen it, like, go check that out. And I think I'm almost like imagining A-Track saw the video background stuff I was doing in that and was like, oh, I need some of that.
Well, remember, we were talking about this for that battle.
I was already like, I'm done battling for the year. And then you get the call from A-Track, and I'm like, oh.
Art, we were talking about that, like when, you know, because we watched that with Esquire live, and we saw how much, like, the precursor to Lazy Boy set. We saw that on the Supremacy, like everybody was doing like WWE wrestling promo type stuff, you know, before their routines. And Esquire and I were thinking, yo, this is the future right here. We need more stuff like this. And then all of a sudden, Lazy Boy with his winning set totally blew the door open. So it's, I mean, online battles is probably still going to be a thing for maybe a couple more years. You know, I think you know, Goldie Awards definitely got so much success out of the online platform that it will definitely do another one online. But I mean, what do you guys think as far as like Lazy Boy with the whole multimedia video, you know, is that what's going to be the feature for like online battles as far as like battle routines? It's going to be now a video element to it.
Kind of like it can't be a straight bite. You know what I mean? The whole thing about that was it was something that was so different from the rest of ours. He totally like stood on his own and he just brought it to that next level. So if somebody would try to come in and do that, he'd be like, "Oh, you're just trying to bite Lazy Boy." You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah,
a little bit. Like I wouldn't say like all like crazy like CGI, you know, DJ routines are gonna be that way. It's just, you know, you got to add your own vision to it.
Wait till you see Buck Rogers get in there, man. Like if he does like the DJ.
I mean, Craze had done that. Didn't Craze do his?
I was going to
say,
show,
right? Like,
yeah, I was. That's exactly
the
right.
disconnect to reconnect video Craze put out. Basically, like the version right before that happened.
Right.
I almost thought that was the one to me that really was just mind blowing because it was. When he put that out, there was, first of all, it was an hour. It was an hour of all of that, and it was like social commentary. It had political, you know, the divide in this country was being put in a way. Then it had the fun and like just wiling out stuff, and it had Craze, the greatest, and it was like a way that allows the DJ to take themselves to a persona beyond just the turntables. And become almost an actor to a point, or a character, was to me not necessarily a bite, but it's like an evolution. You know, it's like the first time someone did a Transformer scratch, is like someone else did it and someone else did, and then it evolved to all these other things. And like for me, that's why I was so impressed by what Lazy Boy did, and all of us Beat Refinery crew, we were watching the show, and we couldn't help but say like we're witnessing something really pivotal here, because that could actually become a style of battling on its own, where you have to. The only thing that's weird about me is about that is like, well, do you have a whole team of people like creating video content for you? Then what is this now? It's almost like a race team, right? That's your pit crew, and they're
that's
like,
you know,
it's like a whole nother thing. But
back to the idea where we need to get paid for this shit.
Yes,
like turntablists especially.
Yes,
like, I'm not saying anything, but like, yo, man, my pocket should be thick for the work that I put in, the shit I do. That's all I'm saying. You know, I can do things that the world can't do.
Right.
So video routines are going to be NFTs too?
They totally can be.
You know, the first one I saw that blew my mind was 4Color Zach's 420 set.
Yeah, man.
And
that was
little baby sitting on like, you know what I mean, on his lamps and shit like that. That shit was insane. Like Zach's imagination is bananas too.
Yeah.
Yo, the thing is that this is what you just said is the evolution, and I really think that this is what this time has shown us, like with Twitch, and we actually have a lot of control over our imagery and stuff. We always have. We just never really had taken it to this point. And honestly, right now it's like, I mean, yes, you know, some people will probably have a pit crew, as you say, and will have people creating that content for them, like a Somi or, you know, like Ed Banger, visual kind of guy. But it's also like on us to be able to upskill and learn that stuff. And I tell you what, man, like if there's one thing that I learned this year was that like doing video stuff wasn't as hard as I thought it was. And you know, I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but you know, like the fact that you can kind of control that a bit more, and you know, especially with Twitch, my experience was really just with Twitch, but you know, you guys are saying the battle world as well. It's like, man, like why not harness that, or why not make videos on YouTube for that? I mean, getting subscribers on there, that's a whole nother game. And you can, I mean, there's obviously always going to be copyright shit, but there's a lot of shit you can get away with and get paid. That is, you know, maybe on the cusp of legal shit, but you can still do it. And then when shit does open, you'll get gigs for that, and then that'll really transfer into cash or Bitcoin or whatever you want to get paid in.
Right. I also want to second that. Like that, I've heard a lot of video guys say that it's not so hard to get into it, and to hear you say that is also inspiring. Not to belittle like anybody that's doing like some hardcore video editing, like probably on the guys on the team of DJ Lazy Boy. You know, those guys.
I I do video editing, so it's like
shout out to you. You do our promo every day.
I let you guys
everything.
Think of anything without Gio.
I let you guys know. Everybody in the chat, if you want to get into video editing, if you know how to use Ableton Live or like any kind of DAW, it's the same ish, man. Come on.
Oh, nice, man.
Yo, you get iMovie with your computer if you're using a Mac.
That's great to hear.
Honestly, iMovie is not the best for sure, but I mean that's all I use. I know like the homies use Final Cut and stuff, but you know you can kind of just make things work. You can just download shit from YouTube with a converter, and then you can chop it up and put music to it. That's that easy, really. And like you said, if you can use any DAW, then you probably know how to use iMovie. It's the same shit.
Yep.
And I think to Dynamix's point earlier, it's like imagination. You're only limited by your own imagination, and that's for some people, you know, that means there's no limit. You know, it's like.
One more thing I want to throw in the mix on this. I keep coming back to this point in my head because Kaz brought it to the conversation, but keep in mind that every single skill set that people have really in the DJ community developed over the last year, from video editing to putting together a live stream for someone else, to modding a chat, to basically being a video director, and all of these other skill sets, these are perfect examples of another like future evolution of a job that you can create yourself. Like, I don't know about everybody else. I'm sure it's a similar situation for most of us. When I started DJing, it was just an idea and I turned it into a job. So just like Rye's doing with her yoga and mixtapes. And everybody else is like taking this opportunity to say like, what is it that I really want to spend my time doing? And then how do I make money off of that later? If you approach everything with that mentality, then you're sitting on a lot more opportunities than just what your hands can do on some turntables or a controller.
Totally.
Yes. Yo, that was the crazy
100%.
thing about this year for me. The reset was I'm so used to caring about what everyone else wants musically. Like I cater my sets to be for the people that I'm playing for. And that's what it is. So without that, like, it took me a minute to figure out what I even liked. Like, just for myself, what do I want to listen to? Like, I didn't even actually listen to music for like a month when pandemic hit because I just wanted a break. And I'm always listening kind of through this filter of like, how is this going to go over at this gig? And it's a different thought process when you're just like listening. So it's been cool to kind of just listen to music again with my own ears and sit back and think, what do I want to create with this? Not just taking what I'm given.
You're right. That's a huge 100%. Question, man. That is huge.
I've gone through phases pre-COVID where like I wouldn't listen to any music, like nothing. Like I would have headphones on, like I go run with headphones on, but with no music, just so people would talk to me. But like I would just, but it's because you know I get so into like my job, or I'm working on a mix, or I'm doing something, or I'm doing this and that, and I'm like, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear anything. And then like when I do want to listen to music, it's the polar opposite of, you know, like I'm listening to fucking 90s rock, I'm listening to 70s rock, I'm listening to like the shit that I want to listen to, and it's satisfying. And I think that's something that we kind of take for granted as DJs, is that like we love music so much and we're around it so much that like sometimes you just don't listen to music. I kind of fell in love with listening to music again because like at a certain point during all this, I was, you know, I'm like, you know what, let me revisit these albums, let me listen to this, and like going back to it and you know, we're spoiled, we're around it so much and we're just like, fuck it. But you know, it's something that I kind of envy people, you know, they're like, oh, I listened to this, and in my head I'm like, yo, this is 94 BPM, like this is like, you know, like E minor, like I'm listening and I'm like, I can mix it with this, and like,
you know, whenever you're listening to music,
it's so annoying, you know, it's so annoying. But like I've kind of been able to turn that off sometimes and just listen to music and listen to DJs. Like what are you doing? You know, I'm not judging your set, but I'm listening to you play and listen to your creative flow go. You know,
you just be a fan for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's my thing too. Be a fan first, always.
And that's what we've learned during the pandemic, especially like, you know, like with everybody live streaming on Twitch. You know, it's been such a blessing to hear, you know, everybody's like musical tastes come out on Twitch, and you basically start learning, you know, remembering lost, forgotten gems, and learning about new genres of music. But let's keep it on Twitch. We've really touched on discussion on Twitch for the past few minutes. But Sean, you have a question regarding about Twitch and Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, I wanted to set this up and kind of throw this to the whole group. I don't know if anybody else saw this, but earlier today, if you're listening to the audio recording, and it was today's date, whatever today's date is, April 5th, DJ Jazzy Jeff did an interview for 2.5 hours with DJ Kova on Tweak Music Tips. And because he doesn't do a lot of interviews, it was like something I had in the background on while I was just getting some work done. And one of the things that he said about Twitch when going through the Q&A was, well, when the gigs come back, I don't have any plans to necessarily get back to doing regular events in the way that we did before, because we've seen what our country, the United States, has done in reacting to this. It doesn't feel like we had taken the opportunity to do things right. So we're probably back at square one. So I'm just not going to plan for being on the road this year and for the foreseeable future. But whenever it is possible, because now everybody's created their own environment. Like I've got this studio in this house where it's like the studio. It's got the ambiance I want. It's got the lighting I want. You create the club at your house. The DJ shows up to you. So it's more important to Jazzy Jeff going forward to say, all right, I'm going to create the music that's going to fit for your nightclub in your house. So when he gets back to being on the road, it's going to be an experience much more emphasized on, I'm going to play to the Twitch audience, all of these thousands of people that would otherwise not be able to necessarily get to the city that I'm at tonight. And then there's going to be people maybe in the room watching me. But the emphasis is going to be the opposite way, because now we've created this opportunity and created this community on Twitch specifically right now as a platform that people are checking for the DJs. So I want to see if anybody else feels like that's something that they would sign on to as well, where instead of DJing for the room in a room of people, you'd be DJing for an online audience with some people that are there to see you in person. Maybe VIPs or something like that.
That sounds dope. I've been at a couple live streams like that, like the way they've been live streaming Boombox. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that party. It's on first Saturdays here in LA. DJ.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a good one to check out. When I was there, it was the same exact thing you're talking about. They had a dope studio setup. Revolution was the guest. And I got to just sit there on a couch across from him and just like watch him. And it was so dope. And he played at like 9 o'clock. And usually you'd have to wait till like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a dope experience. Like if you're there live, you're going to feel really cool and really VIP. And also it doesn't cut it off for those people who want to tune in from other countries and other situations.
It's true. I think we were super spoiled in that we were able to party hop and watch our favorite DJs from the comfort of our couch.
Yeah.
Right? Because like when were we able to do this before? Like we'd either be working, we wouldn't be in the area. If we were in the area, the line was too long and we didn't have a plug at the door. You know what I mean? Like now it's like, man, imagine how much better all of us will be because we have that such access to watching all our favorite DJs do their thing. You know what I mean? And even stumbling across new talent and just be like, oh my God, like this person's like taste and his imagination is so
There's
insane.
been a lot of that recently.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, man.
I've grown like I've personally, I'm not on Twitch as much, but throughout the pandemic, I feel like my brand and like myself has grown just by putting mixes and putting stuff out, and like people have had the time to listen, to see.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that I work with that, you know, maybe acquaintances, promoters, or people that have had the time to see what you've actually been doing. You know, people that you randomly bump into, or now they're like, oh shit, this guy is actually like moving a lot. So I've been getting not a lot of work, but I've been getting reached out to by a lot of people because of what I've been doing. So like, you know, it's if it's not Twitch, it's a podcast, it's this and that. So like, you know, it's because of the free time, and that's the thing. Like if you've been putting stuff out, people have the time to see it. So just think about that. You know, it's huge.
I would think that the devil's advocate of it is, well, it's Jazzy Jeff. Of course, he can pull that off. But like, you know, where does the local DJ that's been having a really, really great time on Twitch, and he's created this community for himself, and then now he has to go back to the club, and he still wants to try to keep that community tied in. But while he's at the regular spot downtown, and the crowd's like, "Why is this dude talking to people in a chat when I'm right here?" That's where it's. Does that exist for some people, or I'm sure some guys will be clever enough to figure that out. But
I know, Eu, DJ EU was doing it in Atlanta, and that's like Wild West Atlanta. So like he was.
How did you pronounce it?
Yeah, we've had him on the show, right? Right?
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's in Spanish. Eu is his name. Eumar is his full name. But AU, yeah, he was doing it. I know he was doing it for a bit, where he was doing Twitch and this and that. And he told me he was shouting, whatever 49 or whatever, like in the club. Like I was like, oh shit, that's wild.
I think there's a really weird thing that's happened where people feel like it has to be one or the other, and they can't coexist. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think that, I mean, like, I don't know, I'm sure we've all thrown our own nights, and I feel like that is really, again, like you're taking control of like who you are, what you are as a brand. I mean, without using all those corny terms, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you throw your own nights, you're really dictating what you're going to be doing, and people will come to that night to expect that.
Totally.
And look at a night like Low End Theory. That night played no music. It was just about music and weird sounds and shit. And they had crazy guests. And whenever people went to play there, they'd play their shit, and that's what people wanted you to do. And I really feel like Twitch has allowed us to figure out who we are. Has asked us that question. Who are we gonna be? Like, is this who I am and what I want to do?
Mom, I found myself. I found myself on Twitch, Mom.
I'm on Twitch.
But at the same time, like the club gigs are gonna need to be club gigs, and there's always gonna be, everyone knows that you're gonna play those certain gigs like that, for that audience. And when you get hired for that wedding, you're not gonna play the wedding like a Twitch gig. For the same reason, you're not going to play it like, whatever, Ace Hotel or wherever you play your gig is, when you get hired to do something, you're going to do the job that suits that job. But if you can take control of that and you can kind of do your own thing, I think that people should really take that approach they take to Twitch and maybe create a night and try and take it to the club and try and create like a Low End Theory or something that, for themselves.
Yeah, and I, honestly, to build on what Matt was saying, what Kutcorners is saying, I was actually thinking about doing this prior to the pandemic, of like just doing an online party, because one, I'd be able to reach a much wider audience, and two, I can kind of just control my own room and do things that we're very limited when we're playing out. It's either a theme party, it's a club set, or what have you. But to let your imagination run wild, like that's something that Twitch has allowed us to do. So I think there's gonna be like a hybrid world where it's like, all right, I got my club gig, but I have my stream, and I'll be able to do this with it. You know what I mean? And be a lot more creative than I would be when I'm at work, at the club, at the event, or what have you.
Facts.
And so yeah, it's gonna be real exciting to see what the future holds. I don't think streaming is going anywhere at all.
No, people are going to book you for you to do that thing that you do on the Twitch. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the power of it, really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, Dynamix, I know you have to go soon, but because you do have to stream, like, in a few minutes. But tell us about the show that you and your wife have created on Monday nights.
Oh yeah, well, so a lot of like the sets I would do on my own, I was just like, this isn't completely fulfilling for me. Like, so some of the sets I'd like, some of the sets I didn't, and I was just like, I just want to do something different. And my wife was like, yo, why don't we just do a stream where we're just being us and chatting with everyone, because we haven't gotten a chance to be like completely social, right? We'll have a few friends that we might see every now and then, but it's such a small group. But at least now we'll be able to kick it. We'll have our friends come in the group. We'll have our your Twitch audience, and we'll just chop it up with everybody. So that's kind of the idea that she came at me with. And then, we created the Family Dynamix name. And so it's just more about us kind of just rapping with everybody and kind of doing our own like weekly reflections. It's dope. At the end of our stream, she also does like a positive affirmation for the day, which helps, because like some people just aren't thinking about things like that. You know what I mean? And affirmations is something that kind of helped us with our mental health, keep everything together. So that's something that she adds to it. And then today we're actually doing a raid into someone else's stream who does like a late night thing where it's like he does a monologue, he has the in-house band, and then he'll do games. So that's going to be something that we ended up filling a slot for, but it'll add like a whole different angle to the show. So I'm excited to do that later today. But for the first hour, it's just going to be me and wifey chopping it up with everyone. I'll probably be playing some like Neptune stuff for her birthday, but it'll just be more background stuff. Like I'm not going to be mixing. I'm just probably going to just be throwing songs on while me and her chop it up with everybody and like do our, weekly reflection. And that's what it is.
That's dope.
Thanks.
What is the name of the show again?
It's called Family Dynamics.
Family Dynamics.
Perfect. That's amazing.
Everybody,
thank you guys for having me.
Everybody in the chat, make sure to follow.
Pitching that to Bravo next year.
And we're gonna be going there as soon as the show's over. So make sure you stick around and support. Yes.
We're gonna raid Dynamix.
Hey,
Great to see you.
thanks again, yo.
Good to see you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Take it easy, Dynamix.
Peace out, dude.
Yo, that was
And
sick.
then there were 8.
So everybody in the chat, we're gonna raid Dynamix a little bit later once we're done with the show. Big shout out to Reminisce.
Yeah, Rem's been popping up in and out. What's
Big
up,
bro,
big bro?
Reminisce.
Yeah, Aura.
Digital Dave.
Brother? You got
Shout out Digital Dave, Matthias from DC.
What's good, Dave?
Nice to see you.
Yes.
What's up, homie?
what's
Stargazer.
So many of the homies and friends in the chat. It's certainly I think a lot of us have found I've heard more and more DJs say they fell in love with DJing because of Twitch again. And I really think it's because it shows how many DJs are just doing the job that is required for that setting, and they're interchangeable with any other DJ that just wants to play the music of the moment. And they're all
numbers.
And that can really burn your soul up. There's certain people. I think, Cuddy, you made such a great point about this earlier when you had said like you always wanted your DJing to be not what you're necessarily relying on. You have this other job, and it allows you to just do the kind of gigs that you want to do. You get to pick the gigs you do, where a lot of DJs they don't necessarily pick the gigs they want to do, especially the ones like my age that are getting a little older, and your sweet spot, it's music that's 15, 20 years past at this point, and you're down with the new music, but it's not where your heart's at. And Twitch has allowed us to connect back to the music that our heart's at, but also with new music that still feels like our spot, whether it's edits or remixes. And I think that's really where a lot of us are going to continue to want to see Twitch live in some shape or form. Even like for me, even if it was just one night a week to get to play that, it's therapy.
That's all it is. I mean, and I think that, like also having realistic expectations about what you want from out of your music or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like I've done gigs for money and they're fulfilling for the bank account, but they were never really fulfilling for me. So I just didn't want to do them. I mean, it was a really simple decision. And I know the music that I like isn't necessarily like the most poppin' shit that everybody likes to lose their mind and do drugs to. So I'm not under any dreams of grandeur that, like I'm going to get booked for EDC or something. So I'm good with that. Like that's cool. I got my 50 people that tune in on my Twitch stream, and honestly, I like, it's fine with me. If people have any issue with that, that's really their problem. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I think one thing I just want to say, and I saw Long Beach Law mention, is that Twitch may not be around forever, and he could be right. Twitch and DMCA and all the sort of things that a lot of people are really worried about getting into Twitch in the first place for. That's a really important thing to consider, but there are other avenues, and
there are other avenues indeed, yeah.
And they will, there is a demand. If there's anything that this year has taught us, is that there's a huge demand for people that do want to support us financially And there's other, like Bandcamp, for example, has come up with their own thing as well. There's Mixcloud. There's gonna be other ways to monetize, streams and such.
I also wanted to shout out Theta.tv, which is one of the first live streaming platforms using blockchain technology to relay live streams, like from different computers, offering a little bit of bandwidth to be able to send their video.
That's crazy.
Yeah, streaming is here to stay. I mean, Twitch is such a established like platform, way before the DJs, joined it. But like if you're creative enough to where you have this big following, and you just create other shows other than like mixing music, I know a bunch of DJs who game. First of all, they game because Twitch is a gaming platform. There's DJs I know that started podcasts, like AKA this group of guys, and like other avenues like creative, like I've seen DJs that's done cooking shows and like wine pairing, that sort of thing, and they got a good following that's happening. But I think even if the DMCA brings down the hammer on it, man, I think DJs will find. I guess nature finds a way.
On to the next one.
Life finds a way.
I mean, look, there's been pirate radio, there's mixtape. I mean, DJs have persevered through every fucking level. Excuse my language.
Yeah, that's fine. It needed an F. It needed an F.
Shout out to you guys though, for real, for adapting so many times. Like,
right,
the guys have been in it for over a few decades. Like, I'm looking at y'all. It's awesome how flexible you guys.
Wait. Reminisce got the inside. What is that? He's also on Bigo? What is that? Plan B?
Bigo?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Give us some more details on the chat.
Is that the new streaming platform?
So we got Twitch, we got Theta, which is newer, using blockchain to
got
relay.
LinkedIn,
right?
Mixcloud,
and I guess
Reddit.
Big Bigo, Reddit Live. Shout out to Drugwag Joe, pointing that one out.
Mixcloud. Do we say Mixcloud already?
Yeah, Mixcloud. Definitely Mixcloud, because they already got the licensing. That ain't going nowhere.
One of the interesting things about Theta is that they're trying to live stream AR visuals as well. That's like what they're going for.
I find that so interesting, man.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one offline. I'm very curious.
The AR
real quick
thing
question
where you can put your crowd of people right in front of you, man. Through AR.
I'm gonna synthesize the audience real fast. But real quick question for Kutcorners: is it Live Evil or Live Evil?
Live Evil.
Thank you. Okay.
Like,
and for those who do not know, can you tell us about Live Evil?
Sure. Yeah. So my homie DJ Marvel and I, we're part of a crew called The Freshest, but when we get together, we haven't done it for a minute, but when we get together, we like to live remix and perform like live remixes of stuff and our own music. And yeah, it's kind of like a live production project. Yeah, and it's called Live Evil because it's live and it's
a live thing.
And it's evil.
It's actually a
movie.
Right? No, it's a reference of Miles Davis album, Live Evil, and it's, if you've ever checked out this Miles Davis records, like his fusion shit, it's so crazy. Like all the art and shit on it is so wild. Like
it's spiritual music.
Yeah, man, Miles Davis is fucking god. Like he's another being of creativity. Yeah. So if you like jazz, Miles.
Man, me too, man. I mean, he literally has a church run by like his music. Like there are people that go to church and listen to Miles Davis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And then South Stargazer. Sorry.
Stargazer out of here. Art, I have to ask you: is that the roller coaster going up and down the tracks in the background in your room?
That's funny. Oh, New York.
I thought that was a sewing machine.
Oh no! It's me. I think it's in my spot. Hold on, let me close the door.
No, it's cool.
It's all good.
Yeah, there was a roller coaster. Like
that's what I thought.
I thought it was the roller coaster going up. Art's in Vegas, and I'm close to the rock. What is it? The New York.
Yeah. New York. I'm across the street from it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There's construction. So I live right on. I mean, I can show you guys.
Let's see.
Little Miami something.
Exclusive.
Cross's apartment.
9 Cribs.
Wow. hold on. Let's highlight him.
Yo,
he's flexing.
All right. This is dope.
Slight work.
I have there's a spot down there.
Wow, what a sweet balcony, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to show them.
And there it is.
There's the construction. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
And then there's a spot down there. And that's where I play my Friday nights.
Oh,
that must be awesome.
Yeah.
So, 11 p.m. That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe they allow that, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like this building is kind of lit. I think they do Airbnbs here too, so like I don't mind it being because I'm usually never here. Like and there's mad industry people that live here too, so it's cool with me. Yeah, like it's cool because I mean we hear the music. Like I can hear like the other day I was off and my boy was playing. And I heard him play like my edit while I'm like in my room, and I'm like, "Did you just play my Justin whatever edit?" And he's like, "Oh shit, you're home?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I can like Shazam your whole set from here, dog."
Yo, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it's Miami. That's like some typical Miami shit, like just living next to a venue. You know, I can leave my house, and only because of the construction, it's 10 minutes. If there was no construction, I could leave my house like 4 minutes before I have to get on.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
That's next level, dude. Wow. That's pretty smart.
Smart. Convenience.
It's pretty smart.
And I think that's always the go back to factor. And as we're wrapping up tonight and reflecting on this past year and what it's done to us as DJs, and it's sad. There's been a lot of depression, a lot of people suffering. More than others, because a lot of times a DJ, and it's an incredibly big drop because the normal dichotomy of life for most DJs is they're looked at very unique in their circle of friends that aren't DJs or family members. Like, oh, it's so cool, you're a DJ, you do this, you do that, it's so great. And so they're always used to being at this certain level. Yeah, and then they watched as the pandemic put them completely on the other side of that to where they had nothing. And other people that have had their jobs like, this is so great. I'm at home. I hardly have to work. I still get my full paycheck. I check in here and there. And like the only thing that stinks is I just can't see anybody where we were, a lot of people don't really understand what our industry or even us as creatives that use our talents, not only as a creative outlet, but as our way of life and making a living and how much of just a flip that was. But most importantly, for everybody that's listening, whether you're listening now or going to listen 2 weeks from now on this podcast, remember, if you're a DJ, you had to already overcome so much to get to where you are, whether it was the technical side, the learning, the picking up the multifacets of marketing or exposing yourself, getting in your hustle. If you could do that, you can do that in anything you do, whether it's taking it and writing this out, as so many DJs have figured out how to do. And like Rye, who even before the pandemic was already getting her mindset on something bigger, or Cuddy that's always been keeping himself in a job that he loves. It's still music, but not necessarily DJing. And we have to remember that we are very versatile in how we approach living. And you if you already were here before this, you will be successful after this. And don't let your self-doubt or the crushing of what happened to you let you stop you or second guess yourself, because you made it through this. You're here today and you've been through this, and we're getting on the other side of this, and you're gonna be all right. You're gonna find yourself back in a place of comfort.
She did. Shout out to Stylus Chris.
Stylus Chris for president.
And
Stylus Chris for president. Stylus Chris for president.
Thank you for that pep talk. I was really feeling that.
1,000%.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, my first person is I'd give that pep talk to myself. I need to hear that just as much as anybody. Wow. Nobody's immune to that. I mean, half the time I'm saying it for myself, but and I'm just talking it out loud, but it's real. We've all gone through it. And
what up, K Meta?
K Meta.
That's right. I got your Wheaties.
So taking off of that, Chris, how has your trajectory for your career changed going into the rest of this year after a year of lockdown?
Ooh, you just put me on the spot like that?
Yeah, why not, Principal?
Funny you asked. No, you know, I'm fortunate in a lot of ways, very blessed, and have had the comfort of a wife who also works. And for having kids, I've always had savings, and I've been saving before a pandemic for anything that could happen. Like if my wife and I are both self-employed, so if something happened to one of us and we couldn't, there's no benefactor to fall back on. So I've had an emergency nest for a long time, and quite frankly, I looked at this as like a jump start to where my mind already was. That's why I always reflect on that. And so during the pandemic, I actually got my real estate license. And
nice. Congrats, man. Congrats.
Yeah, and I've kept it on the low. It's actually the first time I've even talked about it in person on public. Wow. But yeah, I'm licensed DC, Maryland, Virginia with Compass, and shout out to the Milan group, my boy Cena. But yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of what like Cuddy's saying is like, I'm excited to challenge myself in a new way, to be vulnerable, to be the low man on the totem pole, to be the kind of the coffee runner at first, to learn the ropes instead of being, doing something you've done for so many years. It's really actually fulfilling in a lot of ways and motivating to be learning something completely new and to have that fire and hustle to try to learn something new. And that way it leaves me doing the gigs that I only either want to do or paying me a lot of money.
Is that something you were already interested in, or something?
Yeah, I've always been into real estate. I got into flipping houses a long time ago, and kind of used it only for myself, where I would flip a house and get to the next one, and then I've kept flipping them until I'm in the one I'm in now with my kids, my wife, and so I've done real estate for almost 20 years in that sense, but never as an official
licensed.
But and it's a lot like DJing, and it's so. And that's what I'm trying to say to everybody is like, you can take everything you've learned and put into DJing and that mentality and shift it into so many different ways you never thought possible.
And at the end of the day, DJs are entrepreneurs, and have an entrepreneurial, mindset. I mean, it translates to everything else, man. Just to let you guys know, everybody in the chat, man, there's you can always have the same, put that same type of energy into something else if you need to.
And let's roll out. Who else has got something that they're really focused on, or that's changed your trajectory? Let's give it to our guests and give them. You guys give us your last everything you want to kind of promote and give us your last sugar. Let's start with our ladies.
Of course.
Yes.
Right. What you got, Rod? Give us that promotion on the next yoga and
that Dean tape, though.
Yeah, well, pandemic, I feel like overall has just kind of recalibrated my spirit. Like I feel like my body was on one track, my spirit was on another, and now we're lined up and we're in sync again. And so what I'm really excited about is just getting like reconnected with one of my purposes, which has always been teaching yoga and helping people access more freedom within themselves. That's what I'm really passionate about. And so now to have over a decade of that plus DJing to mix together, I feel like I'm just really excited about using music along with my yoga to like kind of attract a different audience to yoga, because I think that a lot of people think, oh, like for instance, like you would never do yoga to MF Doom. That's weird. But if I can show you that you can, and you are a fan of MF Doom, then maybe you'll be like, maybe I fuck with yoga. Like,
right.
So that's next Monday. Actually, a week from today, I'm dropping Yoga in Zoom, which is volume 2 of a series I'm doing of like on-demand yoga classes. A couple weeks after that, in May, I'm launching a virtual membership. So I'll be teaching my class live weekly, to a different soundtrack every week. I've got a Pharrell soundtrack. I've got Lauryn Hill versus Erykah Badu. I've got an old Jake Dilla.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds sick.
I'll even take it. It's fun. We'll later. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Just in terms of like how I want to give back to the world and to our community of DJs. And then also I'm dropping some solo music, which I've never done before.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
So throughout the course of working with my group, I started out as just a DJ, but I ended up getting in more and more sessions, learning about writing, learning more about production, and of course, coming up with tons of ideas that like weren't quite like right for the bands. But now that we put out our record, I feel like, okay, well, I can let some of my shit breathe for once.
Other projects.
Let's see how that feels, you know?
Aliases.
That's dope.
Yeah. And thank you so much for having me. Congratulations on doing this podcast for a year. That's what's up.
Oh,
no, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, I just want to shout you all out for inviting a woman onto your panel, a woman onto your panel. So often I only get invited to conversations with all women. Obviously, I love talking to women, but I think it's important that we all talk together too.
Yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I hope that you keep doing that.
We always try to.
We always try to.
Yeah, we know lots of really dope DJs, and they come in all shapes, size, colors, genders, and
yeah, we love your energy too, and you're always one of the front runners.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you and your time. Right.
Thank you. Thanks for. It's been nice catching up.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I got linked with another yogi, so now we're definitely gonna connect.
Yes, I just followed you.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Let's definitely.
No, definitely. You know, I've said, I think I've said a lot today. I always talk a lot, but
that's what you're here for.
Yeah, you know, pretty much the stuff I mentioned. So I've just been working on myself, you know, and kind of Chris, what you just said right now sums it up. And I tell that to people a lot because, you know, as things started opening again, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like it's different. It's a different world. My love for DJing is not the same. In the sense of, I know, you know, like that it's a different world, and our perspective and our mentality of what we thought we were doing, you know, a year ago is completely different. And I've just been trying to grow, you know, and find different routes and apply my talent and my skills into something else. You know, like I said, I've been working with a few artists, working on the radio. I have a show on Globalization every Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. I have a show on Power 96. Yes, all day Pitt. Team Pitt. I've been fucking with Pitt since he used to rap. So since he had hair.
Yeah.
Oh
gosh, I didn't even know.
When he had braids. There's a video of him rapping with braids. I mean, I've been a huge Pitt fan forever, and like working for him has been insane. So just been doing that and just trying to feed the youth. You know, I have a few DJs that I kind of mentor and just trying to get them to do it right, you know, and help them and just get the right way, you know, get the right ideas and the right mentality and just help people out. I also have a Patreon, DJ Cast. I make a lot of weird, like unplayable edits that some people fuck with, you know. I put Throw Baby over like Casey and JoJo on my life, and it, you know, it's destroys. You know, it's like the weirdest shit.
I like
I'll send y'all. I have a homie folder. I'll send y'all the homie folder. I don't know if that one's on there. Well, I can share it better. I can share it in the chat, right? So that and just
on the private chat.
Keep moving. Yeah, facto.
You don't want all of the homies.
No. This is going on us on the StreamYard chat, but just keep it moving, you know, and stay positive and just know that, you know, I try not to put all my eggs in one basket and just constant, like I said, you know, you connect with people, putting people together and things have worked for me, and there's, you know, I'm excited on the journey, on the music related journey that I've been on, and you know where everything is going. So I'm just looking forward to seeing y'all in DC soon. You know,
you already know.
Yeah,
true indeed.
But again, thank you guys. Everybody, hit me up. you can follow me at DJ KA5 on most social medias, DJ_KA5 on Twitter. And hit me up. Just hit me up. I reply to all DMs. I'm always, however I can help you, let me know, and I'll try my best to do that. So
nice.
I appreciate that,
brother.
Cuddy.
Yo, honestly, thank you. Just thank you for having me on here, man. The only thing I can ever really ask anyone to do is just play my music somehow, some way, anywhere you can. So, I'm on all of that shit. I'm on, everything. You can find me on Tidal, Twitter. It's all Kutcorners. The only thing I'm not Kutcorners on is Twitch and YouTube. I'm the Kutcorners.
The Kutcorners.
Yeah, that's the ones I couldn't get for some reason. But honestly, just really grateful, man. And it's a crazy time, man. If you guys are just stay alive, stay.
Those that don't know, you're on as Cuddy here, so we'll let them find you as Kutcorners.
No. Sorry, you guys.
Corners with a C.
With a C.
That's the only one that people get wrong.
Come on, Doc.
I didn't do that.
I think it was Art.
I did that one.
Oh, good. Yeah, so that's Cut with a K, Corners with a C.
We'll have him spell it.
There you go. There it is.
There we go.
Boom.
Yeah.
Bam. And keep putting out dope music. If you guys in the chat don't have any Kutcorners music in your Serato,
you're slacking.
You got no cut in your Serato?
You need to get up to speed.
Yeah.
And because it's his stuff is some of my favorite things to play. Because it speaks to me in the same, I think a lot of ways, come from a lot of the similar love and appreciation of music, and that's what I really love about getting music from my peers is like it helps express what sometimes I can't say, and that's really,
and playing it,
really
it's your friend that made it. It's just
it's
so much more fun to play.
So much.
Fun. If I could say anything though, if you do make music, make sure you play your own music. Like
True.
I didn't do that for the longest time, and I was doing myself the biggest disservice.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
If you make music,
Man, thank you.
play your music.
I am afraid to play like my music. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I'm not there yet.
So important.
Awesome. Well, guys, it's time to end the show. But once again, give it up one more time for our special guest, DJ Dynamix, Kutcorners, DJ Cash, and Ritos. Thank you again for coming through. We definitely appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes,
lady.
Thank you guys so much.
As
Before y'all
always,
leave,
yes.
sorry, the links are in the chat just in case
There
y'all
you go.
close out. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Get it
On
before
the
you
private
close
chat.
out.
We'll
On the
definitely
private
check that out. As always, to everybody tuning into the show, please stay in the chat. Please stay in the chat. We're gonna pay it forward and raid Dynamix channel for his family Dynamix stream. So once our show goes off the air, we're gonna raid him. But so stay put in the chat, everybody. Again, if you missed any of our episodes, you can watch our past shows on Facebook.com/BeatRefinery or YouTube.com/BeatRefinery. If you prefer to listen to the audio side of things, this episode will be uploaded this Thursday to Apple, Spotify, wherever you consume and listen to all things podcast. So make sure to click like, comment, and subscribe. The next episode of the 9 at 9 will be back next month on May 3rd. But come back again every Monday night on the Beat Refinery Twitch channel. We have like multiple different type of shows. We have our music playlist shows. We also have I believe we have Mini Mix Monday next week.
Monday.
Yep. So make sure to check it out. Everybody on the podcast, twitch.tv/Beat Refinery. Tune in every Monday, 9 p.m. East Coast time. And then once again, fellas, 1 whole year we've done this podcast.
Yeah, guys. Everybody, huge shout out to everybody.
We did it.
Who's been on the show too.
Yes, we did
hopefully we can go maybe two more months.
And then we're gone. We're out of here.
But also,
again, everybody, thanks again for tuning in. What do you have to say, Doc?
I was just gonna shout out our Discord if you wanted to catch up on any of the stuff we talked about. We dump all the links that we share in the chat in there, so you'll find it.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that everybody's socials are in that Discord from tonight for everybody that's tuning in, so we know how to get to Cuddy's Bandcamp and Kaz's Patreon and Rise Yoga. Let's keep the conversations moving.
And as one's OnlyFans.
You'll be his only fan.
Only one fan.
He has an NFT only channel, guys.
That's actually the next topic. OnlyFans for on the next 99 episode. Now. Just kidding.
I'll be tuned in.
All right, everybody.
Yo, dope.
Once again, everybody in the chat.
Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys again.
Thanks for
tuning in.
We'll see you guys next week. Everybody say peace.
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 You're out.
And we're raiding.
Bow, 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 bow. And there it is.
Did it?
All right, peace, y'all.
Great to see you.
Yes, thank you.
Great
guys.
to see